I am so glad that Aaron Savali demanded that trade. Swing and a miss from Dansby Swanson, and it's 0-1.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The Vaughn Monster on a tear. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. You know what today is? Today is, here we go. Yeah. It doesn't matter what happens today. We can get greedy. We can want to sweep. We can pine for one. But the Brewers have already won the series. No matter what happens today, the Cubs are leaving town behind the Brewers. They have climbed 8.5 games back from where they were when they were sitting around 500. Yeah. And they have now climbed over the Cubs, and they have firmly entrenched themselves in the top spot of the NL Central. Yeah, it's exciting times, man. Exciting times. And then you got skirmishes. You got fisticuffs. You got Matt LaFleur. He's not taking any of that crap. You don't beat up on one another. You don't get personal. You don't jaw jack. You concentrate on the work at hand. Take a lap. Take a lap. Take a lap. You got that going on. Oh, my friends. It's a glorious day. In so many words. Welcome into the Bill Michaels Show. Exciting times right now. You got the Packers getting ready to venture into their season, and the Milwaukee Brewers. Man, there is just a lot of good things happening. Yeah, stop them, clap them. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot, by the way. Stomping feet, clapping hands, sitting in the stands last night until Vaughn went yard. And then, like rats on a sinking ship, all running to the high point, Cubs fans began to exodus American Family Field. Yeah. What a night last night. That was fun. That was a lot of fun last night, I got to tell you. I was one of those guys last night as I continue to get ready for our trip out west. We're going to Sturgis, South Dakota, coming up on Friday. And I had the car and the truck in the driveway. I was working on the trailers, getting everything ready to go, changing over the condors, which are the wheel chocks for motorcycles, putting them in the secondary trailer. And I had the radio on. I had a beer on the wall at the in the driveway. I had the RV doors open. I'm kind of putting stuff away. And it was one of those sweltering, muggy summer nights that I just freaking love. And just sat out there and enjoyed listening to the game until I just finally, I was done working. I was shot. I was so sweaty you could probably wring my clothes out. But I just sat back and enjoyed the game, listening to the game broadcast last night, then coming in, showered real quick during a break in between innings, ran downstairs after I got showered and dressed, and I'm sitting on the couch in a pair of shorts, hair's wet, and Vaughn went yard. And then it was like watching all the Cubs fans just kind of exit the ballpark, which was pretty sharp last night. How you doing today? Hopefully you're having a good day today. I know we got some, at least in the southern portion of the state of Wisconsin, we got hit with a little bit of rain and a few thunder showers this morning, which is nice, but it's also going to bring cooler weather tomorrow. By the way, oh my God, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you can't ask for much better weather for the Wisconsin State Fair. Holy mackerel. 75, sunny, basically no humidity. And it's going to get humidity-wise better throughout the weekend. You may have record numbers this year at the Wisconsin State Fair. Oh, my goodness. I love the fair. Absolutely love the fair. We're going to be there tomorrow, kicking things off. We're going to be inside of the Bud Pavilion and the Goose Island Ale House. We're going to be there before they open up, before they open the doors. I mean, not before anybody gets there because There's the 4-H kids and, the vendors are all getting set up and running around and everything. But we're going to be there early tomorrow, getting set up ourselves, get there about 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, get ready for the broadcast tomorrow. And then there's going to be a couple things that are going to be on a stick that will be consumed, a beverage, head home, get a little work done, back there on Friday. So if you're going to be going out to the opening of the Wisconsin State Fair over the next couple of days, come by and see us. We're going to be at the Goose Island Ale House in the Budweiser Pavilion. And we're really looking forward, as we do every year, to seeing everybody. We get so many people that come into town that want to say hello and come back behind the glass and just kind of BS for a couple of minutes during a commercial break. So we love that. Come on by and say hi. Certainly looking forward to seeing you. If you want to give us a buzz, you can. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You can text us 608-321-1670, 608-321-1670. You can track us down via YouTube. Go to YouTube. We're, I think it's 68 people away from hitting 6,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed and you're thinking about it and you want to watch us, because especially at the fair this week, and then we are going to be in Sturgis, South Dakota with that beautiful, beautiful Butte backdrop. That can't wait. Bear Bluff Butte is the mountain and the Butte right there in the background. I can't remember if it's a Butte or a mountain. I don't know. But regardless, it's Butte. It's stunning. And Full Throttle Saloon is going to be in the background. So make sure you watch us. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. You can find us over on Twitter, on X, at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. You can find Grant at Wisco Grant, WISCO at Wisco Grant. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok under the Bill Michaels Show. The Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app. You can find us via email if you choose to do so, thebillmichaels@gmail.com, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. The website simply thebillmichaels.com. The app to listen to us anywhere and everywhere, put us in your headset or in your vehicle or what have you, is WOZN, The Zone Madison. The Zone Madison. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts as well. And don't forget, we are a television show, TV show, 8 o'clock Central Time, My 24 TV in Milwaukee. That is My 24 TV in Milwaukee. We bring him in. It is Grant Bills. Grant, the Vaughn thing was a shot of beauty last night.
Oh, it was excellent. It felt like some style points in a game that they were probably trending towards winning anyways. That felt great. And yeah, they have, through the first 2 games, we'll see how today goes, but through the first 2 games, they've completely and thoroughly outclassed the Cubs. They look head and shoulders to be the better team right now. If they had won, look, Bill, if they had won, 3-2 the first night and 2-1 last night, and it was well pitched, and you'd say, all right, 2 great teams, you tip your cap. The Brewers just, came out on top at home. They are outclassing the Cubs through the first 2 games of this series. And if I was a Cubs fan, I'd be like,
right.
This does not look like the same Cubs team from the first 2 months of the year. And the Brewers look like the same team they've been for, 6 or 7 years now.
It has been fun to watch. Fun to climb on board. Best record in baseball now, again. I was disappointing this morning. I was reading the column written by Jeff Passan and Buster Olney when it comes to teams that are trending for trade deadlines. And one of the things, and I got to find it, but one of the things that was written was they started talking about the deals to be made. And it said the Blue Jays want at least just one more reliever after getting Sir Anthony Dominguez from the Orioles. Detroit wants to shore up the back end of its bullpen. The Astros want a starting pitcher. The Mets, they're going to get an arm and a center field bat. Then it says, quote, the Brewers won't do much unless value falls right into their laps. The Dodgers will consider bigger names with a reliever a top priority. And it goes on from there. But when it comes to like the Cubs, the Phillies, the Yankees, the Mariners, they're all going to do something. They're all, right into talks on everybody. And then you've got that quote, the Brewers won't do much unless value falls in their laps. And on one hand, I thought, you know what? They got the best record in baseball. What do they need to do? But the other part of me was thinking, damn, just once, man. I want to hear them that this is what they're doing. And they're shoving those chips into the middle of the table. I get it. There's a responsibility and such, but I guess if you want to, I don't want to say poll question today, but for lack of a better term, would you be disappointed if the Brewers don't do anything from here on out, trade deadline wise, between here and tomorrow at 5 o'clock Central Time?
Yes, I would be.
I think I would be. And not to say that's terrible, but it'd be a little bothersome.
I think disappointing is the perfect word. I'm not going to come on the air and rant and rave and kick and scream and make it a big thing, but I will be disappointed because I feel like the Brewers have lots of ammo and good pieces, right? They have pitching to sell. I'll be disappointed if they don't do anything. I'm not going to lose my mind and, feign outrage on air, but I'll be disappointed. That's a good word.
I think I'd be a little disappointed. Now, you hear all the time, takes two to tango and what have you, but I would be disappointed because I'm like, you got the best record. This isn't even 2018. This is you got the best record in baseball at the trade deadline. And I don't know. Part of me, some say, oh my God, no, leave it alone. It's great team chemistry. It's not about team chemistry. It's about getting better. Getting better. That's it. That's whether it's just a bat off an infield bat off the bench to come in for Ortiz, and let me say this, because Rick's screaming all about chemistry. Rick, chemistry's already there. The only way you would screw the chemistry up is if you got rid of people that are team favorites. But I'll tell you right now, let me ask you this. And I know from inside locker rooms, it's team chemistry is great, and you got the best record in baseball. And if they don't do anything, it's not like it's going to wreck anything, because it's not. But if guys in that locker room lose a guy who is a good guy, but he's a marginal player, for a guy that is a better player, saying, guys, we're going for it. Nobody worried about team chemistry with the Bucs when they started making moves. Nobody worries about team chemistry when the Packers are sitting with 8 or 9 wins coming up on the trade deadline. They all want somebody. This is a good team, a really good team. But, I think we're worried too much. The only way you would ruin team chemistry, and chemistry is a bad word, the clubhouse vibe more than anything. The only way you would ruin that is if you traded away somebody to trade away somebody. Like if you got rid of Willie Peralta because you're coming up with one more year left and you're going to be pressed up against it and you don't want to pay him. If you traded Willie Peralta now, that would ruin team, the team vibe. Because then you look at the front office and you go, okay, it's more about the money than it is about winning. But if you make a move to win, it's about the move to win. It's about the belief in this team going, you guys are really good. We're going to do everything we can to help you. We're all in this together. That's what that says. I think we get too caught up in the, oh my God, it's the tenuous situation of the mentality. I completely agree. That is a huge portion of it. But if you're getting better versus getting worse, and you're doing it for the right reason, it doesn't affect team chemistry. Doesn't affect team chemistry at all.
It's great for chemistry and the vibe is winning lots of games. So if you acquire someone and then the team goes in the tank, like, right. Oh yeah, the clubhouse vibe will stink, but that's because you're losing, not because of you swapped someone out or brought another bat in. That has nothing to do with it.
It's a good time, though. I'll tell you right now, to be a Brewers fan. It is a good time to be a Brewers fan. This portion of the program, they are running shuttles to victory. That is our friends at Stenny's. Second and National Walker's Point, right there on Watertown Road in Pewaukee as well. They had a big night last weekend with the Taste of Pewaukee out there as well. So kudos to them introducing themselves into that vibe out there. But Stenny's, Second and National Walker's Point, that's in Milwaukee. They're running shuttles right to the front door of American Family Field if you want to catch those, not just for this series, but for all series. They're taking buses up to Packers games, Badgers games. They got something for everybody. That's our friend. Not to mention, it's just a great place to eat and really one of the best fish fries you're ever going to have. Stenny's, Second and National Walker's Point, Watertown Road in Pewaukee. That is Lake Country. Stenny's, as they say, you should be here.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
All right, real quick here. Austin at the game last night at American Family Field. Did you say to your friend, if Andrew Vaughn hits a grand slam here, I'm walking out?
I leaned over to one of my friends. I was like, if Andrew Vaughn hits a grand slam right now, I'm walking out of the stadium. First pitch, nuked.
So you didn't walk out.
Well, I asked them, if you guys want me to leave, I'll leave right now. I was their ride, so they made me stay. I would have left. Could have left.
Wow. I'll tell you this. I was listening this morning. Poor Austin taking a beating. Now, as a Cubs fan, you kind of expect that. You know, you're going to take a little bit of a beating because he doesn't mind flying the W when they win, you know? But he's taking a beating this morning. I was listening to a little bit of that. Yeah. Take a chainsaw to that, baby. Yeah. Hey, our friends at J&L Tire and Service Center was just out and saw Lyle yesterday, as a matter of fact. Great guy and great people. We're using actually their big, massive trailer to take the motorcycles out to Sturgis, South Dakota. So thanks to them, but for so many reasons. But they're just a great service department. I walked in yesterday and I was looking for Lyle, and a gentleman had come over and he says, "You're Bill Michaels." I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I'm here because of you." He actually lives in Sun Prairie, but he had gone there got tires on his vehicle. They treated him so wonderfully that he brought his wife's SUV. She had a nice Mercedes SUV into J&L Tire to get it serviced, to get just kind of the oil change and all that kind of stuff, just because they treated him so well and they were so honest. And that's the best right there in Johnson Creek, just above I-94 and the Johnson Creek exit. Also on Boulder Road in Watertown, Wisconsin. That is JNLtire.com. That's JNLtire.com. Now, let me give you some statistics here. Since June 25th, the question about Ortiz. By the way, Ortiz he's 2 for 21 his last 21 at bats. 2 for 21. He is hitting 181 since June 25th. 14 for 77. So he went on that little run. He got his average up, and he was doing okay. He got to about like 215, 217, something like that. He was at 217 on July 23rd. And pretty consistent at the plate. Since then, it has plummeted. He's batted 181 in his last 77 plate appearances. His last 77 plate appearances. And they are consisting of quite a few strikeouts, to say the very least. And it is a lot of key moments. And he is now being pinch hit for in tight, late ball games. His glove, the leather he plays in the field, undeniably incredible. I would never, ever, ever question that. But the offensive prowess that he has is awful right now. He's back to being extremely bad again. Now, every time we criticize him, he starts to hit the baseball. So maybe today he starts to rope again. Who knows? But right now, just really, for lack of a better term, not getting it done. Not getting it done. Not at all. And it's disappointing because you really thought that, okay, the weather's heating up. The glove has always been good. Here we go. We're ready to go. Not at all. Not at all.
And I think Murph, you saw footage of him yesterday was it last night or the night before, like next to Ortiz in the dugout, kind of chewing him out. He's not going to, go 2 for 3 or 3 for 4 every night. Stop watching strike 1 and strike 2.
Right.
Stop watching the first 2 strikes go by. And what's funny is he's actually an okay defensive hitter. Like, he protects the plate pretty well and expands the zone with 2 strikes. It doesn't mean he does anything productive, but he, for the most part, doesn't strike out. Stop watching strike 1 and strike 2 go by.
Yeah.
Like, that'll solve a lot of the problems of a 9-hitter from which you don't expect too much.
He is just bad at the plate right now. I don't even know how else to put it. He's just bad at the plate right now. So not helping this team offensively at all. At all. And it's frustrating. And here's the thing. You're right. He'll watch strike 1 and strike 2. And the next thing you know, he's striking out on a ball up by his head. A rise fastball that's going to be up above his shoulders, and he's swinging at that and then looking frustrated.
Because he's chasing, right?
Yeah.
He's protecting the plate, which is what you do with 2 strikes, but stop getting in 2 strike counts.
Right? He just puts himself in the hole so bad.
By watching good pitches go by. You're a 9-hole hitter, man.
Yeah.
Like, no one's trying to pitch around you. You're getting fastballs that are catching the plate. Swing the bat.
Yep. No doubt. Let's do this. We got coming up bottom of the hour. We got Tim Dillard's going to be joining us. We're excited for that. Let's go to Daniel listening to us in Toma. Daniel, how you doing, man?
How you doing? I have a question. When's the last time? I just out of curiosity, how many Grand Slams have we ever had in one season?
How many Grand Slams in one season?
Yeah, it seems like we're having a lot of them this year, and I don't think it's this many in the past.
Okay.
We've had some Grand Slams. I'm just saying, it seems like it's coming more this year I've ever seen.
The Brewers had back in 1995, and funny you ask, appreciate the phone call as always, Daniel, 10 Grand Slams in 1995. 10 Grand Slams in 1995. So there you go.
And last year they had 5 and 8 games. They had a ton of them last year too.
Right.
I'm trying to find the year by year total, but last year was a big year.
2024 they had 10 as well. They tied the franchise record with 10 Grand Slams.
In 1995 they hit 5 Grand Slams in the span of a month. from August 2nd to
That's crazy.
September 2nd. And of course, J.R. Radcliffe has a story on this with all the details because of course he does. I don't know how many they've had this year. It doesn't feel like that many, Daniel, but last year, maybe Daniel's just a year, but maybe he's just a year behind.
Right.
That's fine. They hit a lot of 3-run homers Adames had last year and grand slams last year too.
10 in 95, and then they hit 10 again in 2024. I don't know how many they have yet this year. I think it's 4 or 5. I don't know. But yeah, that was the team record for the man. I can't believe I found that quick. That's the team record for the most grand slams. So there you go.
Yeah, well done. When Daniel asked that, I'm like, I don't know, Daniel. Like, I don't a solid amount. I don't even know where you find such things. Good for you for digging that up so quick.
Right. It's amazing what AI does now. You know, I'm a little bit scared about that, to be perfectly honest with you, but nevertheless. Our buddy Steve writes, Bill, I mentioned it yesterday, but Ortiz has got to be replaced. His defense is undeniably fantastic, but time and time again, he just strikes out. Last night, taking a call third strike with the bases loaded, totally unacceptable. Matt Arnold, you should have a barn full of arm dangle ones for a shortstop that can hit 250 or so consistently. Let's go, Freddie, today. Let's get the sweep. Yeah, you got Freddie Peralta on the hill today. I'm loving it. Michael says, so you guys will be upset if they don't do something at the trade deadline? No. I said I'd be disappointed. Again, I know it takes two to tango. I'm not throwing a fit. I'm not screaming and yelling if they don't do anything. Not at all. That's not it. I'm not upset is a way over exaggerated word. I just said I'd be disappointed.
You're very reasonable on this.
Yeah. Is it because you just want the Brewers' name called from so-called experts naming a player to be traded? What I do think is they're going to get a left-hander in the pen to replace Rob Z. And like I've said many times, they'll get a vet off the bench. They've got a great team, well coached. Also, CBS Sports has Cortez listed as the starting pitcher for Friday's game with Quintana on Saturday, Woodruff on Sunday, Miz on Monday. Well, that I didn't know. There you go. Also, they actually have done trades to better themselves. Priester, Vaughn, Jansen as an upgrade at the backup catcher position. Now Cortez is set to return along with Hoskins. Those are adding pieces without giving anything away. I know that. And that may be let's be honest. Okay, let me say this. There was a comment made yesterday during the broadcast about how the left side of the infield offensively has not been living up to the rest of what the team average is. And that's completely Cliff Notes paraphrasing, okay? But we all know it. But because they're winning, it masks it because it's the ultimate deodorant. But if you get into the postseason and you've got the left side of the infield that you're relying upon to give you offensive statistics, and it comes down to leaving runners in scoring position, people are going to be screaming. Like, why didn't you do something? Because we could all see it. You know, winning is the ultimate deodorant. It's over here. Look over here. This is great. But there's still something here. It's kind of like, when I watch the Packers and I say, there's a flaw here, but they're winning. And people are like, oh, shut up. They're winning. Don't screw with it. You don't want to. And I'm like, but this is a problem. And then they get bounced in the playoffs because of that problem. And then people are like, I can't believe they didn't do anything. Well, duh. We've been screaming about it forever. Am I going to be upset? No. But I'll be disappointed because I thought they might have done more to shore up the left side of the infield, offensively speaking. That's all. We'll talk more with Tim Dillard about this when we come back because he's right there, up close and personal, man. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
For windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella Experience.
The biggest thing for us in the Experience Center was the collaboration with the team. We were able to come in and sit down and go over a bunch of different options, and it wasn't just us dictating what we wanted.
They asked us things we didn't even know or think about, from colors to hardware. And because of that, we were able to get the best possible look for our home.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella. Just like Jim and Haley, you too can see, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from 7 different Pella lines, side by side, at our Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. And today is a great day to stop by because right now you can get 0% interest for up to 5 years. The Pella Experience Center is on Blue Mountain Road, kitty corner to delicious cups. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, get the look you want at a price you can afford. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. This is 31/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Special group here right now. We're playing really good baseball, and it's fun to be a part of, especially when the crowd's electric like that it was tonight. It's been great.
It's been great. It's fun to watch. You better believe it. It is the Milwaukee Brewers. They now hold the best record in baseball as we sit here today, and they have been steadily climbing ever since the mid-portion of May, to be honest with you, and they have just been on fire, for lack of a better term. Let's do this. Let's bring him in now from FanDuel Sports, former Brewers pitcher himself, Tim Dillard, now joining us on the hotline. Tim, good to get you back, my friend. How you doing?
I am doing good. It rolls off the tongue so well when you say MLB best record Milwaukee Brewers.
Yes.
Doesn't it sound good?
It does. It sounds good. If it's, you know what, you and I talked a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about where they were at. There were a couple of games under 500. We weren't really sure what they were. I know that Murph used the term like misplaced energy. He was looking for something to come on, kind of bring it all together. Yelly gets the walk-off grand slam in the 10th, and it seems like ever since then they've been winning baseball games. Is it just as simple as saying something like that brought everybody together?
Probably not. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that was about to happen, about to get Brandon Woodruff back, call it Mizorowski, guys getting at bats, some of the balls trying to land, not just hitting the ball hard and right at somebody. I mean, you could just tell they're on the peak and they're on the verge of something. Didn't know there was going to, skyrocket to the top of, baseball, but you knew the team was good, and you knew they haven't been clicking on all cylinders just yet. And it was probably a combination of things instead of just putting your finger on the exact thing. But stuff started going their way too, and you need that in baseball.
So we were talking about trade deadlines and what trades do for teams. And the big question is, with this team, with the way they're playing, the chemistry they have, if you make a trade to better your team as a guy inside that clubhouse, if you make a trade and your management says, hey, man, I think you're really good. I think we're going to try to just fill a hole and give you an extra, ability to get deep into the postseason. If they make a move of any kind, does that, as a guy inside that clubhouse, does that make you feel good? Does it screw up team chemistry? What does that do for a team if they make a deal?
Well, number one, you got to be careful. And I know Murph and Matt Arnold have said as much. You don't want to mess with the mojo and the vibes they got going.
Right.
And then you start looking for, okay, where can we improve? Well, if you go get a guy that, is going to play a corner position or whatever, he's got to have pop. Well, a lot of time that pop comes with strikeouts. So now you're talking about, okay, well, they're going to be striking out more. Then it comes with, well, what about defense? Well, their defense may not be as good. So there's a little risk reward there. And the Brewers, so what if they hit home runs or not? If you're winning ball games, you're winning ball games. So I don't know where you're going to go around the horn and try to replace somebody. And then you start looking at guys on the bench. They have guys on the bench that are doing well. They got starters. Nestor Cortez coming back. I mean, there's so many different things that they're able to do. I think going and finding somebody it shouldn't even be on their radar right now. I mean, still something could happen today, or maybe they know something behind the scenes that we don't. But it's easy to just sit there and go, yeah, I need to get somebody. But if you really look at the numbers, I mean, this team is scoring runs. Their defense is elite, and their clubhouse chemistry is amazing. So if they go get somebody, it better be the right guy. But I can't even figure out who they think they would try to get and want to get. But if they do, they have to get somebody long term. A rental right now, it probably wouldn't be a good idea.
The end of May to the end of June, Joey Ortiz was really smoking the baseball. Since June 25th, he's hitting 181. He's got as many strikeouts as he does hits. What's happened to him?
I think he's kind of, I mean, just watching, every day, watching the swing, I think he's just kind of got a hitch in his giddy up. Like that, the swing is not smooth. He doesn't want to get beat on fastball, so he's out in front on off-speed stuff. And, you can just watch and you can kind of tell, like, it just doesn't feel comfortable for him. He's probably working on some stuff. And a lot of times you don't see that click until, multiple at-bats go by, maybe a week or two goes by and the timing is finally there. But he's so good on defense right now and the team is still winning that you have to have him out there. He's gotten over the hump of the at-bats and playing shortstop every day. He's so elite. It's like, keep him out there. And when he figures it out and has that big home run or that big double or that big swing and bunt, we'll all be like, wow, so glad Joey Ortiz is out there. Yeah, because he is. His defense is that good and the hitting, it'll come.
The outing the other night by Mizorowski, many have said that was their best or more favorite memory, a recent memory of a guy like Mizorowski, for the fact that he took so much adversity in that first inning, including his own throwing error, only to turn it back around. You give me as a pitcher, give me your assessment watching Mizorowski last Monday night.
Yeah, I think it was Christian Yelich that had a quote in one of the articles talking about that. Like, you want to see what a guy's made of when everything doesn't go your way. And that inning, there was nothing that went his way. It was the worst inning. If you drew up the worst inning imaginable for a pitcher, especially a young pitcher, I mean, that's it. Like, one ball goes to the outfield, you give up 3 runs, you made an error, you're letting your team down, and you're letting your team down early. It's the first inning, and you're already behind. But you start saying, you know what, I'm going to calm down, I'm going to get outs. Because after that, I don't think he threw more than like 12 pitches in the next 3 innings. Like, he was just on fire, throwing strikes, getting outs. And that resonates with the team. It shows the older guys like, hey, you can trust me when I'm out there. It shows the coaches that, hey, just because I have a bad inning or a bad at-bat doesn't mean I'm out of this thing. It's a character builder. And a lot of times young guys, especially phenoms like him, he's probably had bad innings, but if you have a bad inning like that in the minor leagues, nobody cares, right, except for the coaching staff, because they know it's, giving you experience. But that happens in the big leagues, man, you feel about as small as a person can be. But for him to stay in the game, bounce back like that, it's going to be great for him. And for the older guys like Yelich to recognize that and speak into it, man, pretty big stuff.
I was watching Murph when Ashby came in last night, and Ashby came in, walked the leadoff hitter, and ultimately he ended up scoring. And I'm thinking to myself, you got a 6 or 7 run lead at that point in time. Don't you just attack the strike zone?
Yeah, but here it is. It's tough. It honestly is. I've been in that situation. Usually I'm in the game. We're down by 10. That was my career. But it's like, hey, clown, throw strikes. And I'm like, I'm trying. Right. And like every ball, you feel like you're getting booed. Feel like you're in winter ball. I come into a winter ball game. I throw a ball. Everyone boos. I throw a strike. Everybody cheers. And you're like, dang, man. That's what it feels like. You feel like you're under the microscope when you're up by 10, down by 10. You're out on the mound. And it's just like, dude, just relax and get out. It's not always that simple. You try to fill up the zone, but guys know that. Guys on the other team are going, oh, he's going to throw strikes. So what do? You start sitting on pitches. And so then you try to nibble. As a pitcher, you're like, okay, I know they're going to be super aggressive, so I'm going to stay on the corners. Well, then your stuff moves and you end up walking a guy. But again, it took a second, but once he locked in, Ashby was great. I mean, he saved that bullpen for sure. They only used, a couple guys, like stuff like that resonates. And it is, it's a tough situation because you feel like these dudes are just salivating in the box. They did that when I was on the mound. Like, hey, you have to throw us a strike, and we're ready.
I think you had a few strikeouts in your career. Let's not beat you up like that. Hey, I do want to ask you when you talk about saving the bullpen, load management, inning management right now, because pitchers are creatures of habit. How difficult is that for starters that are going to come in? They're only going to throw 3-4 innings at best. You're going to get them out. You're going to try to save that arm because everybody always says there's only so many pitches in an arm in a season and only so many pitches in an arm in a career. So how is that for starters when you know you're going to only throw 3.5, 4.5 innings at best?
Well, I mean, we saw it early on in the season when the bullpen was being decimated every night because starters were going 4 or 5 innings. They weren't going deep into a ball game. But now you're starting to see guys, Peralta going deep into a ball game. Priester, for sure, has been saving the bullpen night after night. Once these guys look at Brandon Woodruff, 3 quality starts since he's been back. I mean, that's 6 innings. So now that guys are pitching deeper into ball games, if Mizorowski's kind of your odd man out that only goes 4 innings, then that's okay. If everybody's going 4 innings, that's a nightmare. But right now, the Brewers can afford to do that. If that's the pitch count or if that's the plan, that's actually not a big deal. But I mean, they're going to have to figure it out. I think Woodruff, they're putting him back a day. They're going to start kind of him on a 6-man rotation to kind of make sure he's, got enough bounce back so he can come back and pitch deeper into a ball game. That creates more opportunities for other starters. But yeah, I think with Mizorowski, if they're going to ramp him up and let him really have a pitch count, I don't think he's thrown over like 80 pitches or 85 pitches. I would love to see a game where they're like, hey, you get 100 pitches, go do whatever you want. For a guy like that with that kind of stuff, saying, hey, there's no leash today, bud. Have at it. Could see something special here in the next month or so.
Speaking of special, I was listening to the broadcast last night where they said, I'm kind of glad Savale asked for the trade. And they picked up Vaughn, and man, he has been just dynamite ever since. I guess you tell me, when you go to some place that you're comfortable, that the pastures are greener, that they're serious about winning, they are competitive, there's expectations. It just seems like everything's come together for him, and it's completely elevated his game.
Well, everything that we've probably heard about the White Sox clubhouse, who knows if that's true or not?
Right.
That's not a winning environment. And when you're not in a winning environment, you play for yourself. And what does that mean? It means if you're up to bat, there's 2 outs, why not go for a homer? Who cares? If you're in a losing environment, why are you going to hit behind the runner? Why are you going to work a count? Why are you going to sacrifice a guy over? Why are you going to hit a sac fly? Who cares? You start playing selfish baseball. So he goes from one of the worst environments to one of the best environments. And now it's, hey, every at-bat matters. You have a job to do, and you kind of fall in line. Murph was just on MLB. I'm not sure what it's called. MLB Network, something, whatever one's in the morning, and was talking about that he thought Andrew Vaughn was humbled a little bit. A guy that was a first rounder. He'd had some good numbers at times, and he got humbled a little bit. Now he has a fantastic opportunity, and he's the biggest team player. He knows what to do. He's looking at opportunities, and that's what I see. Milwaukee's become the brand of opportunity, and they see these talented guys, and they know they can help them with an opportunity, with an environment that they can flourish in, because a lot of teams don't have that.
I know there was people that said, don't take Cheerio out of center field. He's comfortable. He's playing well there. Leave him alone. I got to tell you, I was watching the other night, Blake Perkins. That guy doesn't even touch the ground. He's like watching some kind of like the FTD florist guy float across the air and just close gaps. That guy's amazing in center field. He'd be my everyday starting center fielder if I had my druthers.
Absolutely. I mean, you can throw Garrett Mitchell in the mix.
Yeah.
Mitchell's been having some injuries, but when Perkins got back and started having these big moments, he has a walk-off. That's for the people in the clubhouse and people seeing his story. It's pretty emotional because they know how good he is. This is what we saw last year. Probably should have won a Gold Glove in center field. But when he's out there on the field, it's almost, you feel so much confidence as a pitcher. Like, hey, if the ball hits the center, even if it's going over the fence, this guy could rob it. He had 6 home run robs last year.
Yeah.
And Cheerio's good in center. Don't get me wrong. He's made some mistakes, and he's done really well out there since. He's learning every single day. But he can also play a corner. He can play a corner outfield. That's not a big deal because Perkins is covering so much ground out there. The guy's a real estate agent.
Yep, without a doubt. Tim, it is just extremely fun to watch. Now, here's my next question, because everybody wants to hold their breath, and then I'll let you go.
Ooh.
We all know getting to the postseason and getting deep into it, World Series or bust, is kind of like that thought right now with this team. There are times when you look at teams and you go, yeah, they're good, but they're missing a piece. But can they overcome it? This team is good in a lot of different ways. You just talked about it. They do a lot of things baseball fundamentally right. Is this the team?
They have not shown any signs that they can't win a ball game. I know the biggest hangup is, hey, you go to the postseason, you got to slug. You got to have guys that hit bombs. Like, you have to have that. We've been hearing that for a month. Look at social media. Everyone's playing GM. Don't worry. Everybody in the bullpen, usually in AAA, plays GM as well. That's what it's called when you feel like you know better than the actual GM. You're like, oh, well, you got to have a guy that hits homers. You got to bring that guy in. But if you're winning ball games, none of that makes sense. And it's like, okay, well, if you have to have guys that hit homers in the playoffs, well, who made that rule? I mean, this team's winning without it. Why? Because they're not striking out a bunch. They're taking runs off the board with their defense, and these guys are making contact. And that's a big deal because they're built with the personnel with speed. So they put the ball in play, good things happen, and they've proved that. So do they need somebody to hit homers? I mean, they can. And then those environments, look what the Brewers have done the last, 5 days? They've sold out every single day. They're going to sell out again today. Man, they're playing off the energy that the crowd is giving for sure, because it's become much must-watch TV because they're playing more exciting baseball than anybody else. All those other teams that are swinging for the fence, giving up 5 runs, but they score 10. It's like, okay, that's the only way they know how to play. And if they're not hitting home runs that day, they're not going to win. Brewers find a way.
Yep, no doubt. Tim, great stuff, and I look forward to talking to you again soon, man. Keep up the great work.
Yep, you got it. Thanks.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later. Tim Dillard, part of the FanDuel Network, FanDuel Sports, and covering the Brewers, former Brewers pitcher himself, joining us on the hotline. Good stuff out of Tim. I want to kind of nosh on that. I want to chew that up a little bit. Let it marinate, and then we'll talk about some of those thoughts. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Becoming a truck driver doesn't have to be complicated. At Schneider, we make it easy to get your commercial driver's license and start your new career. With our CDL apprenticeship training, you'll get paid to become a truck driver in just 5 to 6 weeks and have a Schneider driving job waiting for you when you've completed the program. Plus, during training, Schneider will provide transportation, lodging, and meals at no cost to you. Ready to get your career on the road? Learn more and apply today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome in. Thanks so much. I want to remind you that the Big Unit 18th Annual Big Unit Poker Run is coming up. I don't know if you saw it yet. It's over on Facebook. It's on Instagram. It's on TikTok. But thanks to our friends at the Guitar Center right here in Brookfield, Wisconsin. I went in there yesterday. I'd been talking to them a little bit, and we needed guitars, obviously, to get autographed and for when we go to Sturgis, because we're going to see Jackal out there, we're going to see Count 77 out there, and we're going to see Disturbed out there, and all three of which have said we'd love to sign the guitar to help out with your Big Unit Foundation and the Poker Run, and our gala coming up in March. So I went in there, and they said, yeah, we got a couple of them picked out. Now, Grant, you're a guitar guy. Is it Ibanez or Ibanez? Yeah. It's Ibanez. That's what I thought. Yep. Okay. So we've got two Ibanez guitars, and they're not bad. I mean, it's not like they're $4,000 ones, but they're not bad. And one is an axe. I mean, it is sharp. It's a sharp guitar. I'll go get it maybe during the break. But I put a video out, and I just did a video a little bit earlier this morning promoting that the black one. That is just a badass guitar, badass electric guitar. The black one is going to be the one that we're giving away to anyone who pre-registers for the motorcycle ride. We're going to pick one name out on Sunday, August 31st before we ride, and you will be the winner of that guitar. And only for those who pre-register. So get pre-registered, go to bigunitfoundation.com. But maybe during the break, I'll bring it up because we got two of them. One is an Ibanez guitar where it's like when you look at it, it's purple. Then you look at it, it's blue. It's a really sharp guitar. But the one we're giving away at the motorcycle ride, that baby's an axe, man. It is sharp as hell. And we're going to be giving that thing away. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but a lot more to come. We got a lot coming up. We're going to talk a little Packers football coming up. We might hear from Mike Clemens at some point. Mike Renner is going to be here today. It's a banner day already, and we're only an hour into it. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, it's another W for the Brewers, as last night at American Family Field, Andrew Vaughn would hit a grand slam and have a career-high 6 RBIs as Milwaukee would defeat the Chicago Cubs 9-3. Vaughn now has 5 home runs and 21 RBIs for the Brewers in 15 games. He was talking about the vibes in the clubhouse.
Special group here right now. We're playing really good baseball, and it's fun to be a part of, especially when the crowd's electric like that it was tonight. It's been great.
The Brewers own the best record in baseball, sitting at 64-43, also 2 games above the Cubs for first place of the NL Central, and will go for the sweep of Chicago today. First pitch is at 1:10. Turning to the Packers, yesterday in practice was their second day wearing pads. Jordan Love talked about what his head coach Matt LaFleur's message was to the team.
The message is, practice smarter. I always have that team first mentality, and obviously everybody's out there competing, and football is a very violent sport. A lot of things go on, but just have that mindset. We're taking care of each other in practice.
Also not practicing yesterday was running back Marshawn Lloyd with a groin injury and wide receiver Jatavian Wicks with a calf injury.
ABC of Wisconsin is the largest apprenticeship program in the state, with more than 2,000 active apprentices in 12 different skilled trades. In the ABC apprenticeship program, you earn while you learn on the job, get paid to go to class, and graduate with a job in your craft, but without the huge college debt. Explore 12 different construction trades in one spot at buildyourcareerwi.org, or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
Wisconsin football had their first day on the practice field at UW-Platteville for their fall camp yesterday, and head coach Luke Fickle said just being there doesn't mean they'll become closer as a team. They'll have to work at it. The Badgers will be there all the way till August 10th with the one public practice Saturday, August 9th. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Welcome in. Bill Michaels Show, Tuesday edition. Wednesday edition, actually, now that I think about it. I'm a day ahead of myself.
I didn't even bat
I
an
didn't
eye.
catch it.
Great Tuesday show so
holy
far.
Crap. I'm thinking, no, they won yesterday. They are now 2-0 on the Cubs in this series. They have already won the series. They have the best record in baseball. Packers are back on the practice field. We're going to talk with Mike Renner coming up in a little bit. We heard from Tim Dillard in the first hour. If you missed it, we'll play it again later. Mike Clemens will probably join us at some point. We're going to hear more from inside the Packers locker room. We got all kinds of stuff today. I mean, welcome into everybody, by the way. Whether it's WDUZ, who takes all 4 hours, both AM and FM, because we are the blowtorch in Green Bay. They probably have us turned on right now over there at training camp. Then you've got a station like WJJQ, which, by the way, our friends up in Tomahawk, we're coming to Tomahawk. We're going to be at Tomahawk on September 11th, Thursday night, September 11th. We're going to be at Castaways Bar and Grill. I can't wait. It's the Tomahawk Fall Ride. And in addition to that, Packers are going to be taking on the Commanders. We're going to have the Green and Gold postgame show live from Castaways in Tomahawk. Oh, I'm out of my mind geeked. I'm excited about all of this. So they're going to be there for that. And whether you're listening to us now in Eau Claire, WKTY in La Crosse, whatever it happens to be, welcome on board because we're giddy today. What I'm giddy about is what I've got in my hand. And I don't know if you can technically see it just yet. But yesterday, I had a lot of running around to do before the game, and I wanted to get everything done, man. Yesterday was one of those days where at the end of the day, you wanted to drop, but you knew you conquered so much. I mean, I did so much yesterday. I did some stuff in the morning where I went and got the trailer for the motorcycles to take out the Sturgis. I put the condors. I put all the bolts and the tie downs and everything in the trailer. I went and got my hair cut. I went over to the shooting range with my son. God, my son is a good shot. I've never shot an AR before. I shot an AR yesterday for the first time. And I got to tell you, I had a little fun doing that. I had a little fun. I'm a handgun guy. And but the reason I love going to the gun range with my son, he's a cop. He's an unbelievable shot. He's also ex-military. But he cleans my gun every time. I mean, he's like, Dad, we don't need to do it every time, but I'll clean it. So he cleans my gun. So, and then I got home and I was working on the RV and I was working on the trailer and I backed the truck into the driveway. So I got this whole conglomeration of stuff, 2 trailers, a boat, my motorcycle, the RV and the truck all sitting outside. I turned on the truck and I turned on the ball game. I'm listening to the first few innings of the ball game. I got a cold beer sitting on the wall. I got tools and wrenches and just guy stuff out there. It was glorious. And then again, by the end of the night, I was just drenched in sweat. I went upstairs, took a quick shower during in between innings, came down, and I was still able to catch the Vaughn home run and watch all the Cubs fans start to scurry out of the ballpark. But one of the things that I did yesterday was I stopped over to Guitar Center, and I've been talking about the motorcycle ride now for quite some time. But it's coming up on August 31st, and I always say, hey, remember, for those who pre-register, you can go to bigunitfoundation.com to get pre-registered. We always give away a prize. So out of just those who pre-register, it's always something cool. Last year, I think we had a couple of them. We had a really nice bourbon package and an autographed poster or a picture from Tim Duffy and such, and some stuff that was really valuable. This year, we ended up, I got a hold of the band Jackal. I got a hold of the band Count 77, which is Danny Coker and the guys from the show Counting Cars.
and our buddy Mike over at Disturbed and the entire band from Disturbed. And they all said, bring it backstage. We're all going to sign your guitar. So I wanted to get something cool. Sturgis cool, rock cool. So this is what I got for those that are watching on the live stream. That is an Ibanez guitar. And now, Grant, you're being a guitarist, is that a pretty nice deal? You can't. It doesn't do us justice because in the light, this thing's got like what they call a black diamond glitter paint on it, and this thing's amazing. This retailed for quite a bit, but we ended up it's used, but there's not a nick on it. But they came to me and said, "This is a really nice guitar." And we were going to put it in our inventory, but we'd rather just donate it to you guys. So this is what they gave us, this guitar here. So for those that are watching on the live stream, you're getting a shot of it.
That's a badass guitar. I've actually been banned from the Guitar Center in Brookfield. I kept going in there and grabbing the most expensive guitars and just loudly playing the intro to Limelight and Enter Sandman. And they got sick. Got
annoyed?
I got put on a list.
So we got to get silver markers. And they're all going to sign this thing. But that's the one guitar. Now, hang on a second. I can reach behind me here. Hold on.
You're just swimming in guitars and bobbleheads.
I am.
Back
So
there.
the second one, this is for the gala coming up in March. Now, it's going to have the same signatures on it. But this one is the one. See how it's blue? And now it's purple?
Oh, yeah.
When you move it, it changes colors, which is beautiful. It's an unbelievable. It's got a dark wood neck, and it's got the high glitter paint on the top where the strings connect and where you would tune it. But this one retails because this one's brand new. I think this retailed for like $600, so $700, something like that. So anyway, long story short, they gave us two of them, and when I walked in the door, they said, "Well, who's autographing it?" You know, like I was just going to go get or some rum-dum dude or something like that. And I said, the band Jackal. Oh, from the 90s? I said, yeah. Oh my God, that's cool. I said, the guy from Counting Cars? Oh, I watch it every day. Oh, Danny Coker. The Count? What about Stoney Curtis? I said, Stoney's going to be there. He's going to autograph it. Oh,
we're talking to the right people.
He's one of the greatest guitar players that nobody ever pays attention to. He's really, really good. I said, okay, great. And then I said, and the band Disturbed. Are you blanking kidding me? I said, no. So not at all. So they were like, wow. So he's like, yeah, let me go get you some other guitars. And that's when they ran and got these.
You were talking to the right guys at Guitar Center. It's like, well, the couple guys from Swing Crew. It's like, that's what we're going to have signed. With no disrespect to, Swing Crew. And
there's a lot of great local musicians.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. So when you're getting that level, and it's not to say that there might be more on there. The band Tesla is going to be there. Hank Williams Jr. is going to be there. We're getting a chance to go backstage and hang out with Night Ranger coming up on Saturday. So there's a lot happening. But that being said, those are the two guitars that were. One's going to be an auction item, and the other one is going to be actually given away. So
I have a feeling, not to throw a curveball at you, Mike Clemens is here with some reporting if you are interested in having him on Packers coordinators availability.
Absolutely.
But I was going to say, I bet Mike has stories going back with all of those musicians.
Oh, Mike, I think way back in the day, I'm sure he probably played with Eric Clapton or something like that. So let's bring him in. Mike Clemens now joining us on the hotline. Michael, how you doing, pal?
I'm good, and I'm sorry to just kind of jump and interrupt, but we just got out of a great session with the Packers coordinators today, and I'm trying to get some other stuff done. I also know that people don't understand what it takes for you to put on this show or to lead 1,000 motorcycle riders out to Sturgis, for a weekend and that kind of stuff. I mean, all this stuff that you do, which is why I perfectly understand. Like when I text you little things like, hey, give me a call when you can. There's something I want to tell you about. When you don't call back, I know what's going on. I get it. I've lived with you at times. Like people don't get it. This dude is up at 5:30 or 6. He goes till 11 p.m. and he's out like that in 15 minutes. He's back up the next day. So I know it all day. I just want to tell you some couple things here off the top of my head while it's fresh. So Rich Bisaccia comes up, special teams coach, and Brandon McManus, the kicker, has had a great camp. I don't know if he's missed one yet. And so he talked about how he came back in great shape. that they thought that they had a good kicker. He's been around some goods. He's in good condition. He likes the battery, as he called it. He likes, the consistency in the snapper. Danny Whelan, he says, remember when we thought this kid's going to be a punter, but we got to make him the holder, and how he's practicing, taking snaps in the hallway. So he's moved on. A couple other quick things. Isaiah Simmons, who they picked up in free agency from the Giants, he could be on all 4 phases of special teams. Really? So they're looking at all different ways to try and use him. Danny Whelan is a punter. One aspect of his game to work on, the hands, just actually when he receives the ball. And he's been working with a former coach out in San Diego, Nick Novak, doing that. Bill, this team wants Bo Melton to make the roster somehow. And even though when you say, oh, my God, look, we just drafted Matthew Golden and Savion Williams, and now we're telling Bo Melton, well, why don't you go over there to defense team, earn a job as a corner? That almost looks like the kiss of death, right?
Right.
But I'll tell you what, Rich Bisaccia wants him on special teams. And he says, even though he's wearing that number 16 now, and he's wearing a dark jersey, there's plenty of room where you can use him on special teams. And then even when you're talking to Jeff Hafley, defensive coordinator, he's like, he's worked very hard at it. It's not easy to do. He's a gifted athlete. And he said, you win with guys like Bo Melton. So even though they're, right now in terms of health and all that, they've got depth and experience. Guys are competing for those corner spots, and they brought in Nate Hobbs. They're going to try and find a way to keep Bo Melton on his team just by talking to these coordinators.
I want to go back to Isaiah Simmons, Mike, because I know they really want to utilize him in so many different facets. How has he been overall? Because very quietly, there's this undercurrent of this may be one of the better offseason pickups that nobody's talking about.
Well, he's got to replace a guy who is pretty darn good that I still have to track down as to why did Eric Wilson go back and sign with the Vikings? A lifestyle thing or whatever. And I have to sort of check with the guys up there to see what he's saying, because he was if Quay Walker goes down and McDuffie or whatever, he could be brought in to help fill in at linebacker and on special teams as well. So it looks like, when that was going to fall through, they knew they had to replace that, or that maybe they had that in mind and just watching him. But, Simmons has made some big plays against them. He's also had a block kick. Right now, I think he's still kind of trying to learn Hafley's defense. So I haven't seen him jump out with all the other things I've been trying to watch so far at practice.
You mentioned McManus, and I think you're right. I don't think he's missed a kick, and it's one of those things where I know Goody was kind of asked about it, and he kind of laughed like, yeah, that's kind of a non-issue. And it's great to have a non-issue like that.
Yeah, it is. Another thing about Goody is this. What have we said after those playoff losses to the 49ers, here or out there, or after that playoff loss to the Eagles in Philadelphia? And it's like, at the end of the day, it just looked like those teams were more physical, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
More hard hitting. And, I've talked about the hit on Elton Jenkins. That was, the whistle had not been blown yet, but it's Vic Fangio telling guys, hey, hit somebody on every play. I don't care if you're in the play, find somebody to hit. Punch, take body punches. And they ended up knocking Elton Jenkins out of the game with that horrible stinger. I don't know if LaFleur would answer this in the same way, but I asked Gutekunst this. I said, do you think after those losses at the end of the season, you need to improve your physicality? He goes, a couple of years ago maybe, but I don't know, not so much now. I just had the coordinator say, that's one of the number one things we're working on.
Really?
We went through the tape. Oh, yes. We went through the tape of all of our games last year, and they are trying to figure out how to be more physical within the rules, but what can they do to be a more physical team? And I know that almost sounds rhetorical, but, I've got quotes coming up here that, are point blank. They're like charting the physicality of this team and techniques to improve in that area.
So that being said, yesterday at the end of practice, you had the skirmish. They like the physicality. What they don't like is the personal, the jaw jack, the attack on one another, so to speak, correct?
there's a line that you cross. There's these guys, and they're tough guys, man. They're football players, and Lord knows what their background is. But there's one thing to being a physical, hard-hitting football player, and another guy who gets his feelings hurt by something that came out of your mouth. And now it's throw time. Now you're a fighter. Now it's MMA. That's not being a football player. And that's what LaFleur is saying to these guys. So not only do you not, keep shoving and punching and throwing things after a whistle in a hot and muggy training camp and guys competing for jobs, what comes out of your mouth matters too, because we all know that's going to trigger this stuff. And that's what happened yesterday when Rasheed Walker obviously said something to JJ Enagbare as he was walking back to the defensive huddle, and that was a trigger. And that's what got him sent to the sidelines. And when LaFleur found out what he said, that's what sent him on a lap around the field.
So here's my next question. For all the things we talk about that are good and great plays and passes and touches and kicking and such, what concerns you right now, what you're seeing and what you're hearing, if anything?
Well, I want to see improvement on the defensive line in terms of that physicality and what they're going to do at linebacker. And, Quay Walker's still not out there. I mean, he's out there working out with a helmet and everything. And I think he was coming back from ankle surgery. He hasn't talked to us yet. But that interior part of the defense, you want to see some improvement, some bigger plays or some differences. Defensively, while I'm thinking about it, LaFleur said something about ball king. You know how LaFleur said in press conferences, the ball is king, right? You got to protect the football. You got to take the football away. So they bring in Xavier McKinney from the Giants at safety. And, the guy just has an incredible year. He jumps out to leading the league with 7 interceptions. But at the end of the day, at the end of the season, your defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley, who's on it, man. He's on all categories. He's like, you know what? We didn't have enough forced fumbles. So he came up with a thing. There's an assistant named Wendell Davis. And he said, all right, during practice now, I want you to chart guys going after the football, okay? And we're going to give them credit for that. It was to the point where I even saw a rookie. It might have been Micah Robinson. Long after a running back had gone through, the offensive and defensive lines and he was running downfield. This kid took off. This guy was 20 yards downfield. The rookie took off and chased him just so he could get down to about the 20-yard line, and from behind tried to punch the ball out. When he wasn't even thinking it. Because it's still a live play. Let's say it's a touchdown. Right? So that's the mentality. So this assistant, he's called the ball king now. He said, just call him BK, man. He's charting all this stuff. And the next day when you walk into the team meeting on defense, he puts up all those clips. And he gives you credit for every time that you punch the ball out. There's a little siren that plays if you're successful with a forced fumble. And he also plays the missed opportunities. Like, look at this guy's got 3 guys around him, and you come up. Why aren't you punching at the football? Why aren't you making haymakers to go after that football? So that's another thing that they're trying to emphasize right now, defensively and special teams.
Before I let you go, anything else that we need to make a note of?
I think we're going to have a real competition at offensive line, and they really like Jordan Morgan. And, they've been running him at tackle, and they've been running him at guard. And Sean Ryan's like, well, they were playing him at left tackle, so maybe that means I'm secure at right guard. Adam Center says, yeah, maybe not. So they, I would say Rasheed Walker and Sean Ryan better compete because those other 3 guys are paid.
Yeah.
So that left tackle and right guard job, there's some dudes that are going to be pushing for that. And they may even go into the season like they did. Remember what they did last year when they rotated at right guard?
Right.
They may do that in September as well.
And they've done that before where they've rotated till they found something that just steadily worked. And then they finally settled in. So it's not unheard of for the Packers to do that. Mike, great stuff as always, pal. We look forward to all the reports. If anything else breaks, let us know.
Call me back at midnight if you want. 1 a.m., whatever. Just give me a call, man.
All right, brother. You're the best. Talk to you soon. There you go. That's Mike Clemens, the great Mike Clemens. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Dream Vacation. You want a dream vacation? Maybe follow the Packers somewhere this year. Maybe make a trip down to Pittsburgh or something like that. It may not be the city of choice, but go to Pittsburgh. You go see a blue collar city. Take a subway ride. go over to some of the good pubs and stuff that they have there, and then hopefully go watch the Packers take on Aaron Rodgers and company and end up smoking them down there. Something like that. I mean, whatever it may be. Maybe you want to go to Cancun. Maybe you want to go to, I don't know, maybe you want to go down to the Bahamas or take an international trip. Whatever it is, Dream Vacations can help you out. Michael, Melissa, all you got to do is call them 414-208-4221. 414-208-4221. That is Dream Vacations. More of the Bill Michaels Show upcoming right after this.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
For windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella Experience.
The biggest thing for us in the Experience Center was the collaboration with the team. We were able to come in and sit down and go over a bunch of different options. And it wasn't just us dictating what we wanted.
They asked us things we didn't even know or think about, from colors to hardware. And because of that, we were able to get the best possible look for our home.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella. Just like Jim and Haley, you too can see, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from 7 different Pella lines, side by side at our Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. And today is a great day to stop by because right now you can get 0% interest for up to 5 years. The Pella Experience Center is on Blue Mountain Road, kitty corner to delicious cups. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, get the look you want at a price you can afford. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Tell you what, on the way back from Sturgis, on the way out we can't stop, but on the way back, we're thinking about stopping in when we go through the cross, heading out to Sturgis, South Dakota. We're thinking about hitting Buzzard Billy's, and I think I might. The question was put to me: can we get like a big old tub of that Wisconsin beer cheese soup? And I'm like, ooh, that might not be a bad idea. I'd love to get that on the way out, but I don't think we'll be there in time. I think we won't go past Buzzard Billy's until they close. Not to mention, we've got a 40-foot RV with a 20-foot trailer. We're as big as a semi. So I don't know if we can be able to just, parallel park that thing or not right downtown. But, man, Buzzard Billy's, good place right there on Pearl Street in La Crosse, Wisconsin. We'll probably stop down the street somewhere and find a parking lot and throw in there, and then head over to Buzzard Billy's and get some soup on the way back. Starlight Lounge upstairs, fantastic craft martinis. Buzzard Billy's downstairs, Pearl Street in La Crosse, Wisconsin, right there in that 1860s brick hotel, and indoor, outdoor seating, all that kind of good stuff. Really, really, really good place. I know we'll be there come Oktoberfest, without a doubt. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, please feel free. Go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. Steve says, Bill, I just looked up the MLB splits for Joey Ortiz, and one stat that really jumps out at AmFam this year, he is hitting 149 with an on-base percentage of 179. Yikes. Yeah, it was funny because Tim Dillard, earlier on the program, if you missed it, was talking about Ortiz and the glove and the vibe in the clubhouse and everything and what he does. And he talked about feeding off the energy at home because everything's like a playoff game right now. And we've seen the energy the last couple of days, specifically with the Cubs in town. And if you're trying, maybe he's trying too hard. Maybe it's just like, hey, just go, whatever you see that you like, rip. Stop trying to tee it up and get the perfect pitch and just go rip. Man, they're looking first ball, fastball, first ball over the plate because they're going to get ahead on the count, and you're watching two strikes go past before you even take the bat off your shoulders a lot of the times. Just go rip. Just go rip it and get some of that mojo back at home. But, yeah, 149 at American Family Field, on-base percentage of 179. That's atrocious. As I've said earlier today, since June 25th, he is batting 181, 14 for 77. With 14 strikeouts. He's got as many strikeouts as he does hits. 14 for 77. Oof. Terrible. Terrible right now. He was really climbing out of it and earning a lot of respect, including mine, along the way. When he was, he got that average from a miserable 172 up to a 217. And then all of a sudden, it just went back in the dumpster. For whatever reason. So Joey Ortiz, man, if you can just get him to pick it up offensively, things would be enormous. Mark writes, who do you think your former team, the Cincinnati Reds, are going to be targeting, if anybody? The Reds are out of it. I don't think they're going to do anything, No, there's nothing. That's not a good baseball team. They're talking down there about, possibly bringing back Suarez, but why? He would probably, with the way he's hitting the baseball right now, probably fit in really well at Great American, but why? Why would you do that? You're not even in contention at this point, to be perfectly honest with you. They came back and won last night. They ended up knocking off the Dodgers. Did you see Ohtani's night last night? 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. Whew, bad. But Cincinnati's 8.5 games back. 8.5. We're 2 days before August. They're 8.5 games back. Think about the Brewers. The Brewers right now, where they are right now, 2 games ahead of the Cubs. They're 8. That means they made up 8.5 games to this point in the standings from the middle of May to today. So June, July, and half of May, right? May, June, July. And it took them that long to get the 8.5 games. The Reds, now, don't get me wrong, Cincinnati right now is still kind of in that wild card hunt. They're only 3 games back of the wild card. But I don't think they're going to overtake the Padres. I certainly don't think they're going to overtake the Phillies or the Cubs. The Cardinals are 4.5 back. Their season's pretty much over. I mean, you go past San Francisco, who's 5 back. After that, it's the Marlins are 7, Arizona's 8, Pittsburgh 13, and on down from there. I don't see Cincinnati doing anything to just, well, maybe they just want to get there. Who knows? But I don't know. I don't see them doing much of anything, to be perfectly honest with you. But thanks for the email. Not that, I'll be honest with you. I like Terry Francona. I know Terry Francona a little bit. Other than that, Rob Butcher and a few of the guys that are still with the team, I don't have a lot of, connection down there the way I used to, because so many faces have changed. Jeff Brantley, certainly their broadcaster, and Barry Larkin, one of their broadcasters and such. And I know those guys, but beyond that, I'm all Brewers all the time, all Brewers all the time. 877-867-1670. Hit us up, 877-8670. By the way, this portion of the program, we're taking it with us. I just got the RV stocked this morning, some Drop Dead Blonde. Got that on board. Got it on board. Got it in the cooler. The cooler's going to get some ice on Friday, and that ice with that cooler should last about 3 or 4 days. And that'll be the one that gets pulled out, set on the mat right out in front of the RV. So when you're sitting in the fold-out chairs, doing a little campfire at night, there you go. Pour one. You got it all right there in front of you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Throw it right in the mug. Keep it cold. Yeah. Not a bad way to go. That'll be our friends at Point Brewing. Drop Dead Blonde, the Amber Lager, the Lakeside Pale Ale, or say the root beer, the cream sodas. They have that as well. Something for everybody right here in our own backyard, Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Point Brewing. Brewing excellence since 1857.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Phil Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Phil Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Phil Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome in. Loving today. Loving it. Just do. Loving it today. Fired up. Bill Michaels Show. Continuing on. We cannot do anything all over the state of Wisconsin without our great friends and great partners. It has been such a gas and a pleasure to work with our friends at Marquardt RV. And wait until you see the RV. I got to get a picture of it up. Grant, I showed it to you yesterday, but it's all logoed out now. It's
sharp as
done,
hell.
and they came and did it about a couple of weeks ago. And I haven't really used the RV since. We're getting ready to go to Sturgis, but we still have Sturgis. We still got Oktoberfest. We're taking vets and a couple of charity groups up to Lambeau Field. We're doing a big charity event out at Camp Randall this year for the Badger-Ohio State game. All of that. I can't wait, but we can't do it without our friends at Marquardt RV. Marquardt is absolutely fantastic. Their service is second to none. I go to the one in Columbus, Wisconsin. Munch is there. Munch and Ben and the guys in the service department. You know, it's funny because they gave me their numbers and said, here you go. If you need anything, they do it. But I thought they did it for me. They do it for everybody. There was another guy that was in there. He had just bought an RV, bought a travel trailer and said, hey, I've never used one before. And this is the first time for him and his family and his trip. He's got 2 little kids with him, and they're all excited. He didn't even know how to, for lack of a better term, to really kind of hook up and flush the poop pipe. So Munch and Ben and the guys in the back walked him through it, right? It hadn't ever been used, so it wasn't like there's anything in it. And then he says, here's my phone number. If you have any problems, just call me. They're going on a weekend vacation. So Munch is the guy that's sitting there on a weekend with his phone next to him, probably trying to enjoy his weekend. And a guy could call him and go, hey, how do I hook up the poop pipe? And, you know, Munch is like, okay, this is what you do. That's the kind of service they have. That's the reason I love that place. 7 Wisconsin locations, a couple of them over in Minnesota as well. Marquardt, MARKQUART, MarquardtRV.com. That is MarquardtRV.com. They are the supplier of that beautiful Thor motor coach, the big unit cruiser for 2025. Oh, it is so spectacular. So spectacular. What else do we have? Well, let's do this. Jeff Hafley, defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, spoke to the media. Take a listen to what Jeff Hafley had to say.
Go into the season with an offensive line, we may use 6 or 7 guys like they did last year, rotating a guard. And I asked you this question last year. You know, do you see that often? I think you said not a lot. But if that does happen, What's that for your guys in terms of either bringing in a fresh guy on the offensive line or how you game plan for that?
I don't think it does very much. I mean, we rotate the D-line constantly, as you see. We try to keep them fresh. So if he's going to rotate offensive linemen or someone's going to rotate offensive linemen, I guess you could, just thinking through your question, I guess you could kind of look at it and, you know, they're running certain plays when these guys are in. Or is this guy going to pull? Is this guy on the left? And they like to pull him. So we're going to get, you know, gap scheme this way. I mean, you try to look for tendencies, but besides that, I really don't know how much it would do.
Isaiah Simmons is a pretty impressive athlete. Now that the pads are on, what do you think he can give to your defense?
It's early, right? And what we've tried to do with him is put him at one position. He's in there every day. He's learning how to play linebacker. He's going through the individual drills as a linebacker. So from a fundamental and technique standpoint, I think what you're seeing is he's focusing on doing one thing. And I think for him, it's getting better every day. It's his physicality. It's his understanding of the defense. It's him setting edges. It's him playing in coverage. You know, how quickly he can pick everything up and how quickly he can get everything down will determine how much we can really do with him. But I think he's off to a really good start. He's a great teammate. He brings great energy. Obviously, he has great physical tools. Our job is to develop him, right, within our scheme and to try to maximize what he can do and help us win games this year. He's in a good spot, and I'm excited for the preseason games and these practices that are coming up to see what he can do.
Jeff, what's different, if anything, about Lucas Van Ness this camp?
He's a year older. He's got another year in his scheme. I think he's starting to understand the position. You know, how to use his hands, how to set edges, some pass rush tools, some counter moves. You know, I think it was a good offseason for him. Truthfully, I think he had a really good, you know, he did a good job at OTAs. And then I think he left here and he put in a lot of work. He came back in really good shape. He's healthy. I just think he's a year older, and it's another year in the scheme for him where I think he's starting to feel comfortable. I think DeMarcus has done a really good job with him and that entire group. But again, it's still early. So I think there's a lot of excitement for every team right now and every staff right now to see how much better their players have gotten. And I think we're one of those teams that's excited to see him as we get into these preseason games and more practices.
Yeah. When we talked to you in May, you had what we were talking about last year, how well it went. And you said, we need to evolve. We can't just do the same thing and say, here's the playbook and this is what we're running. So without giving the Lions the playbook for now, how much more stuff have you been able to do? And how do you walk the line between, hey, this is who we are, and this is who we didn't necessarily get to beat last year because of some of the challenges, and here's the new stuff that we want?
Yeah, no, that's a fair question. And it's actually something we were talking about right now before I just ran over here. Last year during this time, we were totally figured out who we were going to be. And we're going to be a 4-down front. We're going to play a lot of over defense with a 9 technique. We're going to play a lot of middle close coverage. What were we going to do? And then we evolved when we figured out who we had, what we were good at, who we were playing, and we kind of built it as we went. Right. And as I looked back into, because you go back when you get in the training camp and you figure, all right, these are the install days. These are the practices that Matt has set up. And this is how we're going to do our install. Well, our install, like from last year to this year, you would think we have a new defensive coordinator from what we put in last year this time to what we ended the year. So the beauty of it right now is we have a strong foundation, and that install is almost done after 6 practices. So now it's the tweaking. Now it's getting better. Now it's evolving as we see, oh, I like this pressure, but hey, anyone else think we can do this and this off of it? So now we can kind of build. And what we can do is we have a bigger inventory. The guys know the inventory. And this will allow us to say, all right, going into the first however many games, we like this. Let's hold off on this, but have this ready down the road. You understand what I'm saying? Because I don't think, even though we kind of believe we have a good foundation of where we are schematically, I still think we're going to need to evolve as we go because people are going to figure us out. Things are going to change around the league of what offenses are trying to do. And we're a different team this year. So we're going to have to continue to evolve. But where we are at the start compared to where we were last year is totally different. And I'm excited to see where we can go with this.
I know it's July 30th, so there's a lot of time here, but most of the defense has been Evan and Xavier at safety with Bull in the slot? Is that kind of how you're inclined to line up with that?
We'll see. I mean, Bull's lining up and playing safety too. I think, to me, it's you go into training camp and it's, what positions are we competing for, right? At the safety position, we've got a couple guys who've played, and we've got some pretty good safeties. And then ultimately it comes down to who are the best 11 and how can we get them on the field at the same time. And I think you guys have heard it from me multiple times. I think that's our job. So if Evan, Bull, and X, we feel are three of the best players, we need to figure out how to get them on the field on all down distances, on early downs, on third down. If we feel like there's someone else that deserves to have a package, we got to try to figure that out too. So whether we come out in base defense and Evans is safety with X, or Bull's is safety with X, or whoever wins that job, I mean, that's why we practice. That's why we go into these preseason games. You want guys competing. I think good teams have competition. You want guys pushing each other. Like if I'm Javon Bullard, I'm proving to everybody right now, you're not taking me off the field. Like it's not happening. I'm playing every down. And if I'm Evan Williams, I hope he's saying the same thing. And I hope Zane Anderson's right behind them saying I'm doing the same thing, because then what happens is guys push each other and we get better. And I think that's our job as coaches. Like we want guys to compete to get better and not just think they've arrived, or you're not going to improve. So we'll find out. I mean, it's early. When we line up week one, our job as coaches and my job as the coordinators to figure out how to get our best 11 guys who deserve to play on the field. And to me, who's going to play the hardest, right? And who's going to attack the football, and who are we going to be able to trust that they know what they're doing.
When the conversation came up about moving Bo to cornerback, what were your initial thoughts? And then what's that onboarding process been like, getting him acclimated to a different side of the ball?
Yeah, we talked about it in the spring a little bit, and we kind of put him through some individual and some practices. And I was excited. I mean, I'm a big fan of Bo. I'm sure anyone who's been around him, the type of guy he is, how hard he works. He's super athletic. And then you kind of saw him do some DB drills. And as he backpedaled, you saw how quick his feet were and he could transition. And then you see him get in there and he's got some reactionary skills. So when Matt brought it up again, I said, I'd love to try it. And at the same time, let's take a step back. And this isn't going to be like we put him in and it's, he's got it. No, it's a hard position to play. And people might think you're just out there, go cover a guy. I mean, it's one of the hardest positions physically to play. And there is thinking to it too. It's not as easy as some people think. So I just wanted to make sure everybody understands that this is going to be a process with Bo. And I said to Bo, look, man, you might get spun around in the first two practices. You might line up and, I mean, it's going to be different for you, but I don't want you to get frustrated. We're not going to get frustrated with you. I mean, we understand this is going to take time, but we believe in it, and we believe in him, and we believe he can do it. And again, that's our job as coaches, is to develop players, right? Whether it's a young player, a new player to play a different position. And I think DA's done a really good job. But I credit Bo. I don't think there are many guys in this league who are just going to be, hey, what do you think about doing this? And yeah, I'll do it, whatever's best for the team. How many guys nowadays are going to do that? I don't think there's many of them. So chances are the guy's going to succeed. And I believe in him, and I'm excited to see where this can go. But at the same time, I think everybody's got to kind of just, all right, let's slow down. Everything's not going to look perfect. But I was fired up. I love the guy. You win with guys like Bo.
Jeff, we've heard Brandon Cox pop the pads pretty loud these last couple of days. What do you like about what you've seen?
Kind of what I saw when we decided to play him. I remember sitting here and we thought he deserved to play after he was really hard to block at practice. It's just the way he is out there. He's a physical, strong, tough guy who gives you everything that he has, and he's very disruptive. And again, we need to develop those players, right, and push them to become better. And I think DeMarcus and Vio and Wendell are doing a really good job of that right now.
Let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. More Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers. I could listen to this guy talk defense and strategies and such all day. Can't wait. We'll get back to the second half of this coming up. Getting ready after I get off the air today, heading out to Suburban Harley-Davidson, getting the motorcycle 100% ready for Sturgis. I'm getting my new Zero filler lights in the back. The new brake lights are going to be put on today. They said it takes about an hour, so I can't wait. Going to get the bike out there, drop it off. They'll fix it. They get it ready to go. polish it up, clean it up and everything for me. Back in the trailer. And then I got one more bike to pick up this evening. And then everything will be ready. I can't wait. Can't wait to get out to Suburban Harley-Davidson, which is our landing spot for this year's big unit poker run, the 18th annual. I can't wait. They're great people to work with. Love Suburban Harley-Davidson, one of the best dealerships we've ever worked with, as a matter of fact, and you should too.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
For windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella Experience.
The biggest thing for us in the Experience Center was the collaboration with the team. We were able to come in and sit down and go over a bunch of different options, and it wasn't just us dictating what we wanted.
They asked us things we didn't even know or think about, from colors to hardware, and because of that, we were able to get the best possible look for our home.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella. Just like Jim and Haley, you too can see, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from 7 different Pella lines, side by side, at our Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. And today is a great day to stop by because right now you can get 0% interest for up to 5 years. The Pella Experience Center is on Blue Mountain Road, kitty corner to delicious cups. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, get the look you want at a price you can afford. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to have you back. The second half, or at least a portion thereof. Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, talking to the media. Here it is. Let's pick up.
I think it was Evan Williams, a couple of guys that talked about sort of the emphasis with like forced fumbles, punch outs. Kind of what's been your message with that? Obviously, and I mean, you guys were pretty proficient at last year, but kind of taking that next step now.
Yeah, we took the ball away last year. We didn't force enough fumbles, and that's not good enough. So the emphasis coming in is, one, our play style, how hard we're going to play, how physical we're going to play, how we run to the ball. That's non-negotiable. The other is we're going to attack the football. So we need to emphasize it more. We need to coach it better. We need to put it out there on tape. And in doing so, hopefully our offense we'll train them too. So it's a whole team thing. But that's been the number one emphasis this training camp is over everything is one play style too. We have to force more fumbles. And that's charted, that's talked about, and you can see the buy-in of the players. Again, we can, as coaches, like, let's be real, we could talk about anything and you can emphasize stuff, but they have to buy in, and they have. And whoever's out at practice, I mean, you're seeing some haymakers being thrown at the ball right now. And it can't just be from one guy. It has to be from everybody. And I appreciate the buy-in of the players, but we want to lead the league in forced fumbles. We are going to have to work at it, and that's very important to us.
So is naming one of your QC coaches the Ball King new then, or was that last year?
Where did you find out about the Ball King?
That coach told us.
All right, then that's fair game. I mean, I didn't know that the Ball King was out there. Yeah, so I had the idea before training camp. I wanted to find a way to emphasize it, and there's different ways that I've done it in the past. And I grabbed Wendell and I said, hey, I got some ideas, but I want you to run with this. And, we devised a plan every day to have him get up there, and we chart different things, and we have fun with it, and we have teams, and it's creative. And we decided to call him the Ball King. So they're not allowed to call him Wendell Davis anymore. He's the Ball King. So if you see him, please refer to him as BK or Ball King. But here's what, we were kind of talking about this yesterday as a staff. Like, he gets up there and he does an unbelievable job, and the guys have fun with it, right? And there's a lot of time in training camp where I think, we're on the guys hard constantly, and we're in the meeting rooms and we're watching film and we're demanding and we're locked in. But then there needs to be all right, catch your breath. Let's all have fun together. And he brings that out a lot, and he's doing a really good job. But at the same time, there's an emphasis and there's a seriousness. And the cool part about our guys is they're able to have fun with it. And I think it's bringing them together, but they're buying into it. And you can see that when we go out there and practice. So he's done an unbelievable job, and as fun as it is, it's serious. And, I think if we can continue to do that, I do believe it's going to show up when we start playing. So I'm really proud of Wendell, or Ball King. And, I think it's really helped him too. He's become a really good football coach.
There you go. That's Chef Halfley. We'll talk about the importance of turnovers, fumbles, get into all of that. Mike Renner joining us at the bottom of the next hour. We got more Brewers stuff to get to. We're loaded. We're loaded. We are the epitome of a sports baby diaper. We're loaded. We're loaded. Don't change us, though. We're loaded. Oh, God. More than the Michael Show coming up.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, Milwaukee will go for the sweep of the Cubs this afternoon at American Family Field. The Brewers have dominated the first two matchups, outscoring Chicago 17-7. Last night was the story of Andrew Vaughn's 6 RBI, and Quinn Priester picking up his 10th win by allowing just 2 runs over 5 2/3 innings. It moved them to 8-3 since the All-Star break. Priester was asked why they're having so much success right now.
I just think, it's the belief in one another. I believe that all 8 guys behind me, or 7 guys behind me, and Bill are going to be there and, show up and want to win just as badly as I do and want to make that play play and want, the next ball. You mess one up, like, I want the next one. I know everyone behind me wants it too, and I think that just shows the way we kind of play for each other a little bit.
Today, it's going to be Freddie Peralta on the mound for the Crew. Comes in 12-4 with a 2.81 ERA. Gave up 3 runs over 5 innings in his last start against Chicago. The Cubs counter with Shota Imanaga. He's 7-4 with a 3.12 ERA. He got shelled his last time out, giving up 7 runs in just 3 innings against the White Sox. Milwaukee comes into the afternoon with a 2-game lead on Chicago in the NL Central. First pitch is set for 1:10.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Rural Mutual is the #1 farm insurer in Wisconsin for a good reason. As a company founded by farmers, they understand the ag industry and its challenges. Local agents offer farm families the best advice and personalized coverage. Visit ruralmutual.com to find an agent near you.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Or Packers getting the day off from practice of a training camp. They'll be back out there tomorrow as they inch closer to the annual family night inside Lambeau Field on Saturday. And the Badgers hit the practice field in Platteville for practice number 2 this morning. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil. Fred.
Good day. Welcome. We are past the halfway point. We are flying today. It may not seem like it to you, but it is to me, man. This is a blast. Wake up every day and get a chance to do this and talk to you and have fun and get to talk sports and kind of revel in what's going on with the Milwaukee Brewers right now. Best record in all of baseball. 2 games up in the Chicago Cubs. The 3rd game of the series. The possible sweep. Do we dare say sweep? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. Do we say sweep? Turn up the heat, baby. Wonder if they can do it today. Got Freddie on the hill. I'm giddy. I'm going to be out running around this afternoon, too, so I'm looking forward to listening to this all day. So you've got that going on. We just heard from Jeff Hafley. We got up in Green Bay, we got Rich Bisaccia here. We're going to be talking, or not talking to, but listening to him coming up a little bit later on in the program today. Mike Renner is going to talk some NFL with us, talk some Packers, where they need to improve if they're going to have a successful season, and visit us all in that godforsaken state that is California and San Francisco for a Super Bowl. You know, I really want to see the Packers win the Super Bowl. I really do. This year it's in San Francisco. I hate that city. I absolutely hate that city. I hate that whole area. I just do. LA, one thing. You know, it's not easy, but at least LA is a little more, I don't know, a little bit, I don't know how to put it. It's a little more enticing.
San Francisco is not exactly your bag if you were to line up factors of cities and things that.
Yeah. If you look at San Francisco's got a lot of cool stuff. You know, you go across the Golden Gate, Ghirardelli. You know, you've got, obviously the curve road that, is so infamous in so many movies and television shows and such, going all the way back to years gone by, the streets of San Francisco. You got Fisherman's Wharf and you got all that down there. But if you're looking, like I've always said, like Chicago is the armpit of the country, right? San Francisco is the absolute butthole. It just is.
What does that make New York then?
Well, it's the other armpit.
That's good. Why didn't I think of that?
The other armpit. It just is. There's some places that I really enjoy. I really like when they hold Super Bowls, like the one in Vegas. I thought just make Vegas the championship city. It was great. We had a great time. Everything was easy to get around. It was for the most part, for their first attempt, they did it really, really well, I thought. Then you've got, other Miami. Even though Miami's kind of tough to maneuver, it's still just suited for that. And we've been to some other. New Orleans, I thought, did a really good job in so many different facets. Houston is the taint. Houston is the taint of the country. Taint good, taint bad. It's just there. It's just the taint of the country. It just is. Just a hanger, you know? I thought Dallas did a great job back when the Packers were there. Dallas has not hosted a Super Bowl since, by the way. But yeah, it is just, San Francisco is the absolute butthole of the country. It just is. If you look at the United States as like an animal and it raised its tail, out would fall San Francisco. That would be what it is. So I want the Packers to win a Super Bowl. And on one hand, I want them to go into San Fran and win it, because San Fran's knocked them out a couple of times in NFC Championship games. They haven't been able to get past them. You know, they haven't been able to win a Super Bowl themselves under Shanahan. So they've been there. They couldn't get the job done. But, to win it there with Jordan Love and not Aaron Rodgers in San Fran, the team that Aaron Rodgers grew up, if you want to kind of bring it all back to full circle, I guess you could say that there's a little bit of that factor, but it's just such a turd place. It just is. LA's the next year. And after that, I don't know where it's going. I think we go to Atlanta. Atlanta's the next one after that. Atlanta's like the lint-filled belly button. Atlanta, that's exactly what Atlanta is. You don't know what you're going to get. One neighborhood, terrible. The next neighborhood, really nice. The one in the middle, probably filled with lint. You put your finger in it, it smells like San Francisco. You don't know. Atlanta's the belly button. But a beautiful stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium's in there. Beautiful stadium. And that whole setup in that State Farm Arena area is really, really nice. But that's it. I don't know how else to go from there, to be honest with you.
Can we have a Super Bowl in some nicely sized, medium city?
Yeah.
We don't need to deal with 45 minutes of traffic. And I guess that's the whole
just
point.
it. I wouldn't know where else to go. Tampa Bay, maybe. Nashville's going to get one. Once they get that new stadium built, there's going to be one in Nashville. They're going to get awarded one. I have not, what's funny? I have flown into Nashville twice with the Packers, and you go in, you go to dinner, you get up, you do the game, and you leave. There's no time to really do anything. And that goes back to the days when I was working with the Packers. And I've always wanted to go back. Everybody always says, oh my God, you got to go back. I didn't go back for the draft, but everybody else said, oh, that's great. Now you got to go. Anybody I've talked to in the last three years will say, and I just had some friends that had gone there. And I said, oh, how'd you like it? And they're like, no, wouldn't go back. Really? Crime's terrible. Prices are ridiculous. Broadway's fun, but it just, no, wouldn't go back. Chuck, I did mention Phoenix. I said Phoenix. I love Phoenix. If you're going to hold Super Bowls, I would say Phoenix or Vegas. Those two places, they have the ability. It's spread out. You can still move around. They got a ton of populace there, and the weather's always good. So either place, I would say yes. The funny thing is, both places where it's beautiful most of the time, both have domes. There's an oddity for you. Both have domes.
I don't like San Francisco for a television product for the Super Bowl because it's sunny outside. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like the Super Bowl is a big game and should be under the lights. It's weird when you can see blue sky, but that's a personal thing of mine.
Yeah, but by the end of the night, it's dark. It's kind of like when you watch the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl starts out, the granddaddy of them all, and the Rose Bowl starts out in beautiful, sunny, sun-drenched Southern California. And by the end of the game, it's, you're watching it in and that's the other thing. Somebody said, what about the Rose Bowl hosting a Super Bowl? They just don't have the infrastructure anymore. They don't have the suites. They don't have, the capability to host the parties that the NFL wants and does. So, no, it's never going to go back to the Rose Bowl, unfortunately. I don't know. I don't know where else to put it. It's not going to be a college stadium.
Chicago, if they get, the new stadium, they'll probably get one at some point.
Probably give it to Chicago, which would not be terrible for us. The travel expenses would then go down. What we could do is we can then parlay that travel expense into where we would stay. So the $2,000, $3,000 we save on all the traveling and driving there and not have to pay for all the extra equipment and the bags and the airfare and everything, we could parlay that into a really nice place. Yeah.
We could drive every day and then parlay those savings into just an insane amount of deep dish pizza. Imagine how much deep dish pizza and steak, liquor we can afford. That'd probably be a little bit too much driving every day.
We would, if they held it in Chicago, the day they announce, which is like 3 to 4 years in advance, about a year and a half out, I would just find like an insane condo in a high rise near like the convention center. Something just crazy. And that's when I would book it.
I want floor to ceiling windows that I can stand in front of in the evening, fully exposed to the world. We need to be high up enough to do that.
Have you ever seen the pictures when we stayed in Miami? Like 4 or 5 years ago? Oh, I got a condo down in Miami. Mike will tell you. Mike, when we walked in, Mike's like, "Are you kidding me?" We were in the penthouse. We were 3rd floor from the penthouse in a high rise at Biscayne Bay in Miami. We overlooked the Sea of Ships where all the ships come in, the cruise ships. We were overlooking just across the bridge was South Beach. It was stunning. And off in the distance, you could see where all the yachts parked and where that's why we make fun of Jerry Jones so much, because that's where Mike and Jerry were on the back of his yacht. When we would go over the bridge to get over to the South Beach side to go to the convention center, we could see the yachts. We saw Jerry's yacht pull in. I mean, it was amazing. And the bedroom that I had was floor to ceiling windows and looking out over the bay. I mean, you just you didn't even have to shut the blinds. You just kind of looked out, and when night fell, you were asleep. But it was amazing. We had something like that. And we booked that about a year and a half in advance. And it was funny because about 2 months before the Super Bowl, the agent texted me and said, "Hey, we didn't realize it was Super Bowl weekend that you booked. We're going to jack the price up to $6,000 for 3 nights." And Airbnb made them keep their contract with us. And I said, "No, you're not." And so we ended up getting it for 10 days for $1,600. It was amazing. Amazing. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Chuck says, "What about Indianapolis?" I love Indianapolis, and they could do it, but I don't think, short of Chicago getting a new stadium, I don't think the NFL has ever, after the fiasco in Minneapolis, and it's not Minneapolis' fault, it was just a cold weather city, and it got really cold, and a lot of things outdoors got screwed up. I from what I heard was the NFL will never take it to a cold weather city again. Even Buffalo, don't forget, they're building that big, beautiful new Highmark Stadium. They're not going to get a Super Bowl. I would be shocked if they got a Super Bowl, because we've seen Buffalo where they can't even play games because not only did they get snow, they got so much snow that everybody was buried and they couldn't get out of their homes. Like feet, more than 3 type of snows. So no, I can't imagine them ever going to a cold weather city again. Won't happen. Won't happen. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. Judge Schmale says there's no roof on the new stadium in Buffalo. There wasn't one on New York either, but they did it in New York. They took it to MetLife, remember? And they got lucky because that whole week it was in the 40s and 50s, and it wasn't terrible. And the next day, Sunday, the game was played. Remember, that was that debacle. The Legion of Boom just dropped a hammer on Peyton Manning and company in Denver. Just beat the hell out of them. And the very next day, the snowstorm hit, and everybody was stranded for days in New York. And New York didn't even want us there. The New Yorkers hated it. They much rather have the Westminster Kennel Club dog show than have, I mean, literally, that was going on at the exact same time. They would rather have the dog show than have the NFL there. They hated it. They just, you go into a deli or you go into a restaurant. "Oh, where are you from?" "Oh, we're from Wisconsin." "What are you guys doing here?" "We're here covering the Super Bowl." "Oh, God, I can't wait for this thing to get out of here. They screwed up Times Square." That's when Fox had the big giant display in the middle of Times Square with the giant transformer robot that they have walking down the middle of Times Square. It was like, I don't know, 2 stories, 3 stories high. And they just hated it. Hated us being there. Terrible. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to find us? Please feel free. Go ahead and do so. Again, Mike Renner coming up bottom of the hour. We're going to talk some Packers football with him, among other things. And don't forget, we've got Brewers baseball. TikTok, man. TikTok. Are the Brewers going to make a move? Do they make a big move, small move, or no move at all? Would you, and going back to our question at the beginning of the show, next segment here, let's do this. Would you be disappointed if the Brewers did not make a move between now and the trade deadline? I know people are going, well, they've made moves. Well, they traded Savali, they got Vaughn. They traded Savali because they had to, not because they were going, you know what? We're going to need a backup first baseman. We're going to go after Vaughn. Maybe they had that in the back of their mind, but it wasn't until Savali demanded a trade to get out of there because he wanted to be a starter that they really became serious about it. Okay. Priester, yeah, they made that move because they wanted to make that move. Priester was a good find. Absolutely. Okay. So they made that move. But this is where you're kind of saying, the left side of that infield, offensively speaking, do you want to go in that direction? And I will say this, there is one and only one move to be made. There is one and only one move to be made. So would I be disappointed if they didn't make a move? Yeah, a little bit, But if they don't, I'll know why. But there is one and only one move to be made. And that's it. I'll tell you what it is when we come back. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The open road is calling, and the ride begins at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. This July, you could burn rubber on a custom Harley-Davidson in the Fire Up Your Fantasy Motorcycle giveaway. Play with your rewards card all July for entries. Thursday drawings for extra cash and reward play. Fire Up Your Fantasy, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Get the Road America app. You can watch and listen live. Get real-time updates on the races, driver interviews, sponsor details, and so much more. Go to roadamerica.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
It's like, you know, you just can't let it get in there. You know, you just answer questions. I'll openly talk about different things that they're discussing, but that's their job, the front office, and they do a great job of it. And yeah, I'm just worried about this club, the group in the clubhouse right now, and what's going on with them. And I don't want them looking over their shoulder or whatever. And I just want them thinking about, hey, how can I help the team win tonight? How do I help? You know? Yeah, there's a bunch of guys that have very little experience on that club, so they can be fragile too. So we got to be careful of that.
Welcome in. I got a great text real quick. My buddy of mine is in town. He came up from that god-awful state that is Illinois, even though he doesn't live in Chicago. He's over in Rockford. He said, we were going to go tailgate. They didn't have tickets to the Brewers game. So he said we were going to go tailgate and ended up not going because of the rain, and there's rain in the area. He said, so a buddy of mine said, hey, Bill Michaels talks about DJ's goalpost. He said, you wanted to talk about all the bobbleheads in the museum and such. He said, so we're over here now. I got the jumbo Bavarian pretzel, which, by the way, he sent me a picture of it. It's as big as your head. He says, looking forward to the mushroom and Swiss burger and sitting back and watching. And now he is a Brewers fan living in Cubs Nation with two friends who are Cubs fans. Looking forward to watching my friends cry all the way back to Illinois, which is great. DJ's goalpost, man. And it's a great place to go watch a game. Absolutely. It's a great place to go watch a game. And I've said this before. I'll say it again. It's like watching it in a museum. All the bobbleheads, all the baseballs, the bats, basketballs, footballs, helmets, jerseys. I mean, you name it. It's literally like a museum. TVs everywhere. Everywhere. That's DJ's Goalpost, Appleton Avenue in Menominee Falls. Okay, real quick. We're going to get into the phone calls here in a second. But I wanted to get into this, okay? Because the question I asked at the beginning of the show is, with the Brewers, if they don't make a move by tomorrow at the trade deadline, will you be disappointed? Me, I'm not upset, okay? I'm not like angry, like, oh my God, how can you not do this? I've asked the question before. At what point do you look at your team and go, this is really the best we've had in a while. You got to go for it, right? You got to ask yourself that, because you're never going to be the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Phillies and all these other big market, big money teams that can just go out and buy great players at every position and say, we're stacked. We just need this. You know, the Brewers are always going to have something that they're going to have to tweak, right? Because they're never going to have that level of money. So at what point is that small of market, are you going to go, this is our best opportunity, let's go for it? I think they're kind of on the verge of that. Okay, we're sitting here with the best record in baseball as we sit here today. So I would be mildly disappointed if they don't make a move. However, there is one move to be made. It's the master of the obvious, the nose on your face. Otherwise, I'm not making a move. It's Suarez. It's a rental. It would not cost you a ton, I don't think, as the clock continues to tick. It's a power bat who can play third base. It gives you the corner. It checks all the boxes we've been discussing. Okay? It checks all the boxes. That would be the one and only move I would make. I don't think there's any other move out there that really checks all the boxes, right? I don't think there is. If there's a power hitting shortstop out there, chances are it's going to cost you a lot of money. If there's another, you're not going to replace an outfielder. You're certainly not going to replace Vaughn. Terang is fantastic. You've already got your backup catcher. Maybe another lefty in the pen, you got really good pitching. I mean, I don't know what other move you could make other than that one. And maybe you get him on a little bit of a discount because he's just got dinged in the finger. But then again, the x-rays were negative. But that might be the only move to make. Other than that, if they don't make a move, I'm mildly disappointed, but I'm not angry. Not like in years past. So going back to the beginning where they said, are you going to be upset? I'm not upset. I'm mildly disappointed. But that's the only move I think that I maybe would make. Ryan O'Hearn. Okay, there's another one. But that's it. That's it. There's no other move to be made. Grant, am I off base on this?
No, I think you're right on it. They don't need starting pitching. Could use a relief arm. Just about every contending team could, just to keep your guys more rested, so they're pitching at a higher level.
Right.
I'm with you. I said on my show last night. Put it this way, Bill. I'm not interested in acquiring a bat that doesn't give this lineup something that they don't already have.
Right.
So, like Stephen Kwan, for example, the Guardians. I don't need him in. They have like 6 Stephen Kwans already. I don't need a contact bat.
Right.
If you're acquiring somebody and giving up something, I want to get something that's not already in this lineup, and that's power.
Let's go to the phone calls. Let's go to Kim. Kim, welcome to the program. What's happening?
Tim?
Yep. Go ahead. Oh, Jim, go ahead.
Hey,
Tim, sorry about
Tim.
that.
Tim, I'm sorry.
Bad.
Go ahead.
No worries. No worries. No, I'm not in the least bit worried about them doing something. Doesn't matter to me whatsoever. I think they're and the third baseman, I think he's going to cost too much anyway. I really do. I mean, there's going to be several teams lining up for that bat. And maybe the first baseman, like you said, O'Hearn, maybe they can platoon with Vaughn, but the defense that we get from Ortiz, I'll take that. It's excellent. Maybe his bat can wake up a little bit, and we'll live with it. We're scoring, and we're still in the top 10 in runs scored in baseball. Nothing to sneeze at. And then the relief arm. Well, Cortez is ready in a week, right?
He will be, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go, right there. We had added middle relief if we need it, and we do, because a couple of guys are on low pitch counts. One being Miz, two being Quintana. He's rarely gets out of the fifth inning.
We've mentioned that might be the way that they end up going with Cortez, that if they don't trade him, whatever, that they may end up putting him in the pen and letting him kind of work, like say him and Mizorowski are your two starters for one day, we'll say. Mizorowski goes 4, Cortez comes in and wraps it up, and then you turn it over to your closers. So that might be the direction that they go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, they're set up as well as they ever have been. In my recollection, they're deep,
right?
With the exception of the left side that you mentioned. But what the heck, nobody's perfect.
They're not perfect, but they're a good, scrappy team. That might be the best way to kind of put it. I mean, they're not perfect. They're not, and they certainly don't have the money to just throw around and go buy a guy. So they got to kind of get there with what they have. I was kind of hoping they'd do something a little bit more than what they've done, but God knows they played extremely good baseball, and sitting right here today is the best record in baseball. You can't sneeze at the direction that they've taken this thing. But I'll say this, pitching has got them there. They've got guys on, appreciate the phone call. They've got guys on this team that can stop a losing streak, and we've seen this, but more so than anything, they've got good pitching to extend a win streak. And even when they do lose a couple of games, they can stop it and turn it back around again and put you back on track and get you 2, 3, 4 more wins straight in a row. So the big thing about this team, as much as we talk about speed on the base paths, speed defensively and such, the pitching has been really, really, really good. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Let's go to Mike listening to us in Oshkosh. Mike, how you doing today, man? What's up?
Pretty good. How's it going? Hey, I just had a couple of good. I just had a couple of questions when we were talking about the stadiums, about how the Brewers have the retractable roof. If you thought that was something that you'd see more of, especially in football stadiums in the north, and with Lambeau Field being so exposed the way it is, do you think that if they ever had one, that would be able to bring a Super Bowl possibly to the area? And that's about all I got.
I appreciate it. I would assume that you're going to see more dome stadiums, or at least keeping the fans covered, so to speak. I mean, much like they're doing at Highmark, they didn't completely dome that. They left that little hole in the middle at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. But even if Green Bay put together a dome, a heated facility, and the most amazing complex on the face of the earth, they will never get a Super Bowl. The award for not getting a Super Bowl was the draft. They will never get a Super Bowl. Being at Super Bowls, and I think this year's, I don't know how many I've been to, and Mike Clemens can attest to this. Grant, you've now seen them. It is such a massive, massive, massive thing. And it just, the state itself, I don't think could handle it. Even if it was in Milwaukee couldn't handle it. It is such a big event in terms of facility for just the NFL experience, not just the game, but then the practice facilities for both teams. And then you get into all of the parties and the theater for the awards night and the awards parties and all the things that happen with, like we saw with Sky Vodka and Bud Light and all the different things at Verizon and T-Mobile and all these places holding these massive events, and then the media soirees. And it will never, the state of Wisconsin will never host a Super Bowl. I hate to be the bucket of cold water, but I'm giving you reality. And to me, there's a couple of places that do it extremely well. I thought, even though it was congested, New Orleans was fantastic. Vegas was amazing. Phoenix, every time we go there for a Super Bowl, they handle it beautifully. Beautifully. And it's spread out and you can get around. And it just, I don't know where else. LA is congested. It's like you're stuffing everything into a bag. Miami's good. It's not great. Atlanta, they're going back to Atlanta because it's a big city and there's plenty of places for all of this stuff. But like I said, Atlanta is so hit or miss. It's not a scenic, beautiful place to go. But those are some of my favorite places for Super Bowls to be hosted. Let's do this. Mike Renner is going to join us. We'll talk, speaking of Super Bowl, we'll talk what it's going to take for the Green Bay Packers to get there. So let's do this. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll come back. We got a lot more to get to. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Oh, definitely. I think, just him coming in here, the way he's putting the work so far, as a rookie, it's going to be a process. It always is. It's just coming in, learning the playbook, understanding the scheme. There's going to be plays you mess up. There's going to be plays you bust. There's going to be plays you kind of run the route the wrong way. So there's just opportunities to learn. But I think for him, he's been doing a great job. He's been in the book, and he's been getting more comfortable with knowing where he needs to be. So let's just keep building that. But I think the playmaking ability is there. You see that. When the ball's in the air, he's going to go get it and make that play. So let's just continue to hone in on the little details and just keep getting better each day.
Those are the words of Jordan Love. All eyes are upon him. As you talk about getting better each and every day, you're hoping you get the version of Jordan Love that was the second half of his first year under center a year and a half ago. It's not to say that last year's version was bad. It just needs to be better. It all starts with him, and I think the injury is what really did hinder him a little bit in that particular area. Joining us now on the hotline from CBS Sports, NFL and draft analyst Mike Renner is here. Mike, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Bill.
Absolutely, my friend. So we are all excited. Everybody is 0-0. The Packers are going to the Super Bowl. They're going to win it in San Francisco. Everybody's geeked, but I say slow your roll because they have some things they have to fix. And let's start with the draft and what you thought of what the Green Bay Packers did and the direction they went.
I like what they did, truthfully. I thought loading up on playmakers, is never something I'm going to argue with in today's NFL. It is very much an offensively driven league. And they, quite frankly, just need to put more points on the board than they have been if their aspirations are getting to a Super Bowl. And so you've paid your quarterback top of the market money. You're not really getting any advantages there in terms of how much you're paying him versus how much he's providing value. So you got to find it elsewhere. And wide receiver right now, it's the second highest paid, almost the highest paid position in the NFL outside of quarterback. So I like what they did there, and I like what they did loading up in the offensive line. I mean, that's what was their Achilles heel in that Eagles game was the depth there. And now basically wherever you look, there is a guy outside of the guy that if someone goes down, that you're completely fine with. So I think this draft will look back in a few years. Maybe it's not a slam dunk. Like, I don't think any of these guys are going to be Hall of Famers or superstars, but I think we'll see numerous quality starters come from this draft.
Everything we discuss, we talk about pass rush and edge rush and secondary and with or without Jair and obviously adding Nate Hobbs and yada, yada, yada. I go back to Jordan Love, who did not have a bad year. But the reality is he had a groin injury that hindered him throughout the season. His rushing numbers outside of the pocket were way down from where he was a couple of years ago. And the play calling certainly resembled the fact that he was not an incredibly mobile quarterback. Not only is it the third-year jump for a quarterback, but the fact that he's this year and healthy thus far, you got to have all your eyes on Jordan Love, right?
100%. And this is the best supporting cast. I think like, not even like this is, I think you said it like it's a question, but it's flat out is. Like, this is the best supporting cast. And the way the offense is set up, what I kind of touched on with, leading the load up on receivers, everyone, the way this Packers offense is set up, every single guy is kind of part of the progression. There's no one guy runs one set of routes, another guy runs another route. There's no slot designation. There's no X designation. Every guy has to be able to run everything. And last year, one of the biggest problems you guys had, there were some guys that couldn't run everything or that you couldn't rely on to run everything. And so that was hampering what you could do. Now I think they got that. At least with Matthew Golden, that was his main selling point, and why I wasn't surprised that was the pick in the first round.
You get Matthew Golden. Savion Williams is an interesting cat because he's a little raw. He's had the drops coming into the pros, a little bit nicked up, but he's what they consider to be like a gadget guy. He's got speed. He's tall. He's lanky. He can do a wheel route, whatever, end around. Give me your thoughts on Savion Williams adding depth to the offensive roster.
He was probably one of the hardest guys to scout in the entire draft class. I know for myself personally, at least, just because what you kind of mentioned there, he had some of the worst drop issues, but also made some of the best catches that you'll see in like contested situations. It's not as if he attacks the ball poorly. It's just the guy has more concentration drops than any sort of top wide receiver I can remember. And sometimes those get fixed. We saw Devontae Adams have really bad problems with that early in his career. We saw Amari Cooper have really bad problems with that early in his career, and it got fixed. Sometimes it doesn't, and it basically takes you out of the NFL. So it'd be interesting to see how that develops. But then he also is not really limited as an athlete. I mean, he is raw as a route runner, but he is very gifted in terms of his lateral mobility, his explosiveness. He really has the total package physically, but it's like he's a total package physically. He has these drop issues, and then he's at TCU, and he was like their fourth leading wide receiver last year, even though he was fully healthy the entire season. So, yeah, I think his initial role is just try to get the ball in his hands because he's that special in that regard, and hope that with NFL coaching, with nothing else to focus on but this game, that the guy develops as a route runner.
Barron Sorrell was a great story. He brought his whole family into town. He decided to stay in the green room even on day 3. He was a 4th-round draft choice. The commissioner finds out that he's there, so when his name is called by the Packers, the commissioner wanted to do it. He gets the bear hug on the stage. He says all the right things. He's that football mentality guy. But is he going to be a developable edge rusher that the Packers are going to need?
I think so, and I think he could even make an immediate impact sort of guy.
Really,
he was a multi-year starter at Texas, a 3-year starter, and got better every single year. The only thing that kind of limited him and why you didn't see him go higher was he just does not fit the profile. He doesn't have the long wingspan. He doesn't have the long arms. He doesn't have the high-end explosive numbers. But he's a solid all-around athlete. The comp I have from coming out is one that if he turns into, I think Max stands to be really happy. It's Jonathan Cooper, who he himself was a 7th rounder for all the reasons just mentioned, almost identical frames, almost identical testing numbers. And the guy rushed the passer at a high level in college at Ohio State. 4 years down the road, he's signing a big deal, and he's one of the better edge rushers in the NFL. I think we could see a similar path with Sorrell. He is just a good football player who does not tick the boxes that scouts like to see, and that's why he didn't go top 100. But if you put this guy in a football field, he's not going to be a liability. He is going to be able to set an edge. He's going to be able to rush the passer and have different moves at his disposal. So it was my favorite day 3 pick of the Packers. I think at minimum, you have a guy who can be a factor in a rotation.
Your 7th round draft choice, if he makes the team and makes any kind of an impact, it kind of makes your draft. You've got Micah Robinson, who they brought in to kind of add depth in that secondary. They get rid of Jair Alexander. They bring in Nate Hobbs, who already has proven that he wants to hit people. Whether or not he can cover, we'll have to wait and see. Javon Bullard, who they brought in to be a safety, is now their nickel. Keyshawn Nixon on the opposite side. They've got experience with Carrington Valentine. But talk to me about Micah Robinson, the 7th round draft choice.
Yeah, I thought he would honestly come in and play the slot for them because that's just the physicality that he played with. Felt like it fits well there in the slot. I mean, he was 1 year of major college football at Tulane, multiple years at Furman before that. So this is really the only time he got called up. And I mean, in the 7th round, obviously there's a reason why he fell there, but I do think that these are the kind of guys you want to draft, the guys who play the cornerback position physically. You don't want to draft just the guys who are athletes who really don't have a nose for the football, don't have a nose for how to play the position. He does, even if he may not have like prototypical high-end cornerback traits.
The overall offensive weaponry, you mentioned that regarding Jordan Love. He's got 4 or 5 wide receivers. They can all catch the ball. He's got 2 tight ends in Luke Musgrave and obviously in Tucker Kraft, who emerged last year. We know Josh Jacobs and what he can do. We'll have to wait and see how bad the injury is to Marshawn Lloyd. But they had Emmanuel Wilson who could carry the ball last year for them and give Josh Jacobs a little bit of a spell. They bolstered their offensive line. They got a little bit bigger, got a little bit thicker, got a little more physical. How good can this offense be if Jordan Love is Jordan Love, what we saw in that second half of his first season under center?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think top 3 offense in the NFL is out of question, but that's, again, you got to capture that guy for a full season. And I think it's very possible because, as I mentioned, the situation is there. You have multiple guys now. I'd go as far as say 4 wide receivers that you feel comfortable that can win one-on-ones. I think that's a number that they haven't had at any point, and they're all now at least in, besides Matthew Golden, they're at least in year 3. They are at least up to speed in the NFL and how it works. And there's, the rookie mistakes, the sort of stuff we've seen in the past that's killed drives. It should not be there anymore. Mm-hmm. And so I do think all of that cohesiveness that we've seen building in the Jordan Love era now, this is it. And no injuries coming in, knock on wood on those. But yeah, I think it's at worst a top 10 offense. And there truly is the potential here for this because, again, they can beat you any which way. They really have so many answers at their disposal for opposing defenses that this should be a much more consistent unit than we've ever seen in the past few years.
The rest of the division, I want to touch on real quick. Obviously, Caleb Williams in his second year, Ben Johnson his first year as the head coach, more of an offensive-minded guy. Kevin O'Connell, what he did for the resurgence of Sam Darnold last year. He has J.J. McCarthy this year. Give me your thoughts on the rest of the division because the Vikings are an enigma with a new quarterback coming in. The Bears are trying to just climb out of the basement. And then you've got the staunch Detroit Lions who just kind of mimic what they've got in their head coach, but they also have almost an entirely new coaching staff behind him. So give me your thoughts on the rest of the division.
Yeah, I think the Packers are in a good spot because they just have the fewest question marks. I mean, truly, the Lions losing your OCDC, especially when they were as coveted as Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson were, I don't think that can be understated how big a loss those could be. With the Bears, it really just comes down to Caleb Williams. Can he make that leap? And if he does, he has the most weapons of any team in the NFL at his disposal. So and an offensive coordinator who's as good as anyone else. So if he does, they could be Super Bowl champs. If he doesn't, I mean, we could be, I think they're quite comfortably the 4th best team in that division then still. And the Vikings are kind of in a similar boat. It's like if J.J. McCarthy turns into the guy, turns into better than Sam Darnold, their D-line is better this year. Their secondary is an issue. I don't think they end up being your NFC representatives, even if McCarthy turns good, just because their secondary is such a problem. It's even worse on paper than the Packers at this point in time, and quite a bit worse in my opinion. But they have some of the best, maybe the best outside of Kansas City coaching staff in terms of your OC, DC in the NFL. So they'll always cobble it together. So it is quite easily the hardest division in football this year. And it was last year, and it should only be better this year.
Real quick before I let you go, I want to go back to J.J. McCarthy. Where did you kind of have him when he came out and was drafted? Obviously, he looked like he was going to be the starter. He looked pretty good early on for Minnesota before the knee injury happened. But how high were you on him when he came out last year?
I saw him as more of a day two guy, but like an early day two guy. I worried about, his ability to put touch on throws, his ability to layer throws. I thought his accuracy was just okay. I thought he was like a little undersized just in terms of his frame, and worried about that at the next level. But he's got good arm talent. He was the best in that draft class in terms of handling pressure. It's obviously a massive skill and trait to have when translating to the NFL. And just, I didn't know his personality. I never got to interview him or anything like that. But everyone that did said this guy's going to outwork everyone. He's going to do everything you want a franchise quarterback to do. He's going to be able to command a huddle. So would not surprise me if, even if maybe he has some ups and downs, everyone's going to in their very first year as starter. But if he just ingratiates himself to that team really quick, they rally behind him really quick, and that there's not a lot of, rookie-ish sort of mistakes. I get he's not rookie, but like those first-year mistakes that you usually expect from quarterback just because of how he prepares. So I hope my second round sort of projection, though, is closer to accurate than where he ended up getting drafted.
Mike, great stuff. Appreciate it as always. Look forward to talking to you all throughout the season as well, okay?
For sure, Bill. Happy to do it.
Absolutely, man. There you go. Mike Renner, CBS with the NFL draft analyst. Great stuff from Mike Renner. Going to go ahead and take a quick break. We got a lot more to get to. Coming up after the top of the hour, you're going to hear from Rich Bisaccia, the special teams coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. Don't go anywhere. Got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up. This portion of it brought to you by our friends over there, because Mike Clemens always brought to you by the Bay Motel in Green Bay. Bay Motel Family Restaurant, Bay Motel. Go to Bay Motel Green Bay, only a mile from Lambeau Field, by the way. Quiet, cozy, comfortable, perfect for that family stay. In and out, no problem. Go to BayMotelGreenBay.com. That is BayMotelGreenBay.com. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Truck drivers, it's time to take your skills to a company that invests in your safety and comfort. Schneider's newer and well-maintained equipment keeps drivers moving and making money. Our trucks are spec'd with the latest safety and comfort features that drivers want. Plus, we offer a huge selection of driving jobs so you can find a job with the home time and schedule you've been looking for. Upgrade to a better driving job today. Search jobs near you and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Coming up after the top of the hour, we're going to hear from Rich Bisaccia, special teams coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. Get his thoughts on where his team stands. We got a lot more. We got another hour yet to go, so don't go anywhere. And I do want to remind you, yes, I was talking about this a little bit earlier about the guitars that we have that are going to go to Sturgis with us that are going to get signed. We are going to give one of those away to anyone. Well, I shouldn't say to anyone, to one lucky person who pre-registers for the motorcycle ride. We're going to give that away on stage. We have just got confirmation we are going to have a flyover again this year as a part of our ceremonies. So I'm excited about that. Things are really, really coming together. And yes, I get asked all the time, yes, for the first leg of the motorcycle ride this year, we will have a police escort and a large number of police that are going to be taking us out of downtown Milwaukee. So God bless the police department. God knows they need it. Our friends at the Milwaukee Police Department, the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department, all the other municipalities along the way, the Brookfield Police Department, the city, the town of Waukesha County Sheriff's Department that are all going to help along the way. We certainly say thanks to them and appreciate their participation and their help, their enthusiastic help in all of this as well as we ride the 18th annual Big Unit Poker Run for Big Unit Foundation supporting Fisher House, Wisconsin. Get registered, make a donation, whatever it is you want to do, whatever your heart desires. But please, if you can come with us, man. And if you want to volunteer, shoot us an email. We'd love to have some volunteers on board as well. We need people that want to deal some blackjack cards at the end and be a part of the party afterwards. We need some people in the beginning that can help us stage the motorcycles or, help people check in. We need volunteers too. If you want to do that, email us. You can get to us, bigunitfoundation.com. That's bigunitfoundation.com, or you can email me direct, the Bill Michaels @gmail.com. Rich Bisaccia, special teams coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, next on the Bill Michaels Show.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, Milwaukee will go for the sweep of the Cubs this afternoon at American Family Field. The Brewers have dominated the first two matchups, outscoring Chicago 17-7. Last night was the story of Andrew Vaughn's 6 RBI and Quinn Priester picking up his 10th win by allowing just 2 runs over 5 2/3 innings. It moved them to 8-3 since the All-Star break. Priester was asked why they're having so much success right now.
I just think, it's the belief in one another. I believe that all 8 guys behind me or 7 guys behind me and Bill are going to be there and, show up and want to win just as badly as I do and want to make that play play and want, the next ball. You mess one up, like, I want the next one. I know everyone behind me wants it too, and I think that just shows the way we kind of play for each other a little bit.
Today, it's going to be Freddie Peralta on the mound for the Crew. Comes in 12-4 with a 2.81 ERA. Gave up 3 runs over 5 innings in his last start against Chicago. The Cubs counter with Shota Imanaga. He's 7-4 with a 3.12 ERA. He got shelled his last time out, giving up 7 runs in just 3 innings against the White Sox. Milwaukee comes into the afternoon with a 2-game lead on Chicago in the NL Central. First pitch is set for 1:10.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
All business owners want the same thing, to make their business succeed. At Rural Mutual, they help that happen. As the 3rd largest writer of commercial business in Wisconsin, they take the time to learn your business so they can properly protect you. Call your local agent today or visit ruralmutual.com.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Packers getting the day off from practice of a training camp. They'll be back out there tomorrow as they inch closer to the annual family night inside Lambeau Field on Saturday. And the Badgers hit the practice field in Platteville for practice number 2 this morning. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil. Print.
Welcome in. We're not done. We're not done. Don't go anywhere. Bill Michaels Show. You can watch the Brewers on TV, turn the sound down, listen to us, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, I agree. That's the way to do it, man. Not to mention, we're going to give you all the, kind of updates, so to speak, and the enthusiasm, because I got it on here in the studio. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Can the Brewers get the sweep over the Cubs today? We got that coming up. Also, somebody had sent me this, and I read this story, but Grant, did you see that there was how do I put this? There was an adult toy thrown onto the court at a WNBA game.
I did, in fact, see that.
Neon green, by the way.
I mean, be loud and proud and bold if you're going to go that way.
Yeah. They threw out a fan for making fun of a player who lost her hair. She got her fake hair, we'll say, ripped out.
Her weave.
Her weave or her wig fell to the floor. And this person got thrown out. This is getting too ridiculous. You're throwing people out for making fun of you because your wig fell off or your weave fell out. It's like, come on, man. That comes with exactly. That comes with.
If I wore a toupee and it fell off, Zach and Ebo would eat me alive in the colors.
Oh my God, yes. But to throw an adult toy.
No, go ahead. I'm fascinated to hear what's the next thing that's about to come out of your mouth.
I just, you know what my first thought was? Did you see the picture of it?
It was large and green.
It was large and neon green, but
Shrek-sized.
That's not what struck me. What struck me was, and I have to admit this, was damn, if it had just rotated a little bit more, it would have stuck on the suction cup on the bottom and been sticking up, wiggling in the middle of the court. That was my first thought, was not only did somebody throw an adult toy, we'll say, onto the court at a WNBA game, but had it flipped on its end, it would have went and stuck to the floor and been just sitting there going, just exactly.
Look, it's not the end of the world as long as there was no
It would have been there wiggling, standing up like maybe somebody's, old television antenna.
Yeah. As long as there's no lube that's getting on the floor, I think it's a fun prank.
Right.
It's better than throwing an octopus on the ice.
Yes.
Smuggled an animal into the arena. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been, I don't know, it could have been an adult toy night at the arena. Everybody got one with a logo on it. I don't know.
Sponsored by, fill in the blank, Shockwave Video or whatever.
Sponsored by Secrets.
Yeah.
The Lion's Den.
We have the zone night at the Duck Pond tonight. We're going to be, sometimes they combine. It's like, and in this outfield box, we have the folks from WOZN Madison. And then over there, it's the folks from Silk. And Kate could fit in with both groups.
Kate could,
wouldn't that be great?
All of a sudden, Kate be like, hi, Kate here. And I'm, talking to such and such here on the field. And then, by the way, it's Bring your own meat night out to Silk. Adult toys. Buy one, get one. We'd all like to get one.
Austin wouldn't know what to do. He had a miserable enough experience at the Cubs game last night.
Bullpen looking up, just yelling, Booby! 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 That would be it.
Which is already what those guys in the bullpen are talking about, by the way, at Northwoods League games.
Cubs jersey getting yelled at and flipped off by Cardinals fans.
Poor guy.
Oh, my gosh.
He understood his assignment today. He texted me last night. He's like, look, I'm going in for the morning show. I'm just going to sit there and take it.
Right.
There's no point in fight. That's going to be my role tomorrow. Right. I said, Austin, I think that's a great role that you're taking on.
Yeah.
It's an important role.
Yep. And you know what? I give him a lot of credit because he talked about it and then somebody called up and said, you admit you were wrong. He had said he was wrong in the first hour of the show. I
was wrong on Andrew Vaughn. I said he sucked 100 different ways when he first got to Milwaukee.
Well, I did say when they picked him up, you look at his numbers and you look what was written about him. And I did say that sometimes you get into a competitive situation and then your game comes back. And just a lot of great points about Vaughn, about the possibility of him kind of, because remember, they sent him down. He didn't come to the big league club right away. He got sent down. And
he's probably only up here. His presence here was expedited by the Hoskins injury.
Yes.
I don't think it was their plan to immediately stick him in at first base.
But there was a sense of humbleness, and he started hitting in the minors too. He started hitting down there, and then he comes up here, and he's just been complete dynamite ever since. So anyway, that being said, let's do this because we do want to hear from Rich Bisaccia. He is the special teams coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, and spoke a little bit earlier today.
That Brandon and the kicking operation is in. Have you seen anything like this before? I mean, they haven't missed.
Sounds like three-part question. So the first part, fortunately, I've been around really good kickers. I've been a part of this. The second part is we're real excited about the battery we have, coming back all together, snapper, holder, kicker, and then certainly what Waylon's been doing, improving in his ability to punt the football. And then the third part is, when Brandon and I talk about it, I know you guys have mentioned it a bunch, he's like, just try to remind them that, you guys are paying me to come here and make field goals, not miss them. So, but a compliment to him, certainly. I think he's gotten himself in tremendous physical condition. He came back, I tried to explain to him, if you come back at like age 22, you got a long time to keep playing. And I think he did a really good job of getting himself in good physical condition. He's confident in the battery. We've talked about him, how particular he is, and I think they really work well together. They're certainly complementing each other in the way that they're practicing.
With that field goal operation, can you tell a noticeable difference now that they've had last season and the offseason working together, just in terms of how that operation unfolds?
Yeah, I think towards the end of the year, it got really, it was well done by all of them. I think, we had an off season of a lot of holds, a lot of snaps. And then Brandon was here for the majority of the off-season OTAs, and he was here for the mandatory minicamp. So I think to your question, yes, they work hard at it. There's a lot of drills that we do, a lot of drills that they do on their own. Even at night when we're in the walkthrough process, they're doing stuff in there as well. So they take a lot of pride in the battery and hopefully continue to improve.
How have you seen Daniel kind of develop as a holder? Because it just seems like he's automatic with handling everything thrown at him.
Well, it's the tedious repetition of the simplest movement, right? It looks simple to most people, but the constant repetitions of that, how many times he actually does it, not only in the course of a day, but I know when he first got here, he was doing it in the hallway at the hotel, so it's something that he's really diligent at working at over and over and over again. And to some degree, he's gotten pretty proficient with it, but there's still always going to be room for improvement, right? His job is to make the kicker right. His job is to make the snapper right, because when the snapper's got 200-300 pounders coming those A gaps, it makes that job a little bit more problematic, but he's done a heck of a job at making both of those guys right.
Rich, what did you see from Isaiah Simmons on special teams in New York, and where do you think he could help you here?
I don't know if you remember, he blocked that big field goal for a touchdown for them. And then, going back to Isaiah and Clemson, we did him coming out. He's extremely athletic. He's got great size. He's got great speed. We're asking him to do some things in the kicking game that he has not done before. He's been willing to do anything and everything that we've asked him to do. He's been a great teammate to this point. So we're trying to put him in position to do what he does well to help us in the kicking game. And that's really what, what we're trying to do with all of them. But he's got a certain skill set because of his height and his speed. We're going to try to put him in a position where hopefully he can help. But he's been great since he's been here.
When you say kicking game, are you referring to like kick, field goal?
Referring to all 4 phases. Yeah.
Just getting back to Daniel for a second, do you see him still getting better here right now? And if so, in what ways are you seeing him still?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. His ability to get the ball out of his hand a little bit quicker. I think he's done a tremendous amount of work in the offseason. He stays in San Diego. He's with Nick Novak for a long time, who Nick has been with us in the past as a kicker. And I get a bunch of videos from Danny during the course of the summer. So he's been getting the ball out of his hand. He's worked really hard on his footwork with his directional punts, and then some situational football that's going into year 3 for him, so he should get better at that as well. So, yeah, we're excited the direction he's going.
Rich, what have been? Go ahead. Just what have been your thoughts on Bo Melton and just what he's doing for special teams while also getting used to playing?
Yeah, 16 green, man. He's still Bo Melton. He's fast. He's got a smile on his face. He's got an incredible attitude. No matter what you ask him to do, we think he's going to become an elite special teams player. He was big for us a year ago. So he's really just the ultimate team player right now, doing anything he's asked to do. He's doing it with a smile on his face, a lot of love in his heart, and he's doing it quickly and physically. So we're excited about Bo as well.
Rich, how important is he to what you guys do? I mean, a lot of times when guys move positions in this league, it's a move that's an intermediate move to them not being on a roster anymore. It doesn't feel like that's the case with him.
Yeah, it's interesting because when he has to play the flyer outside for us, he's expected to make a tackle. And when he plays the 2 or the 4 for us on kickoff, he's expected to make a tackle. So for him, flipping over and playing corner now, the tackling part, he's kind of head down, right? He's in all the tackling drills that we do. Obviously, he's working on the skill set and the techniques and the fundamentals you need to play the different coverages and the different things that they want on defense. But I think because of the makeup of Bo Melton, who he is and his personality, his attitude, the transition has become not easy, but just acceptable. And in his mind, he's going to get better every day. I think if you ask him, he did a lot of work with his brother, in the offseason because he knew this could possibly happen. He played both sides in the spring. So we're excited that we have him, regardless of what side of the ball he's on. And he's going to be an impact on our team.
What do you think Matthew Golden could become as a punt returner if he's asked to do that for you?
Well, it's early, but we all loved him coming out, obviously, where we took him, and a tremendous skill set for him. So he's a guy that's also improving in both. He was the backup punt returner at Texas and didn't do as much in games, but he's done it before, and he's been a kick returner in his past. So we're hoping to get some of those things out of him as well.
Kind of along those lines, given the importance of Keyshawn and Jaden on offense and defense, what could Hardman give you in that role if you decide to go away from those 2 guys?
Well, honestly, Goody went and got Hardman for a reason. He's got a lot of experience in the National Football League. He's done both. He's returned punts and returned kicks. He's scored at it. So there's not a lot of guys under the age of 30 walking around 3 Super Bowl rings. So he's been a surprise in training camp. He's come back in great physical condition. He's trying to do everything we ask him to do the way we want him to do it. He's been a help to me. We've had conversations about different things in the return game. So we're excited about the direction he's going in, but it's early in camp. We'll see how it works out.
Working on with him after practice, it seems interesting that there's a really accomplished returner, but you guys are out there like after practice almost every day.
Well, again, we're all being paid to do a job, and we're going to use all the time that we possibly have to improve. And I'm trying to be better today than I was yesterday, and I think the players are trying to do the same thing.
What are some of those other nuances you might look for?
Can you say that a little louder, please?
What are some of those other nuances you might look for in a return man besides obviously fielding it, the playmaking potential?
Sometimes the number one trait is guys that want to do it, and they have to understand when you go back there, the number one decision you have to make is a decision for the team. And so that's a big part of the process. But, there's an aptitude to some degree for playing back there. And the guys that we have right now that are working back there, for the most part, have all done it. So we'll see where that goes. But we're excited about the amount of, people that we have working back there.
This is more of a Keyshawn Nixon question than a special teams question, but
there's no way to get through one of these without Keyshawn.
well, he's going to be asked to, like he was last year, consistently play outside corner. You have to have a certain kind of mindset to do that, to go up against top receivers. You've known him longer than anyone. What about his makeup, his mentality, maybe suits him well for that kind of role?
Yeah, again, I think we're going into year 7 together, and I think he's constantly maturing in every facet of his life. I think most of his mom's been going through, cancer and cancer treatment, and she just had a really big surgery. And so he's got things that are going on off the field that he does a good job with. And when he comes here, he likes to have conversations about CB1 and all those things. And he's been a tremendous kick returner, and he's an elite, flyer for us when he first got here on punt. So I don't think there's anything he can't do and do really well because of his mindset. Now, he will take a left-hand turn every now and then, or take a right-hand turn every now and then, but most young people do that. And so to answer your question, there's never been a roof on Keyshawn Nixon. There's never been a ceiling for him. So I think our expectations are he's going to get better every single day at whatever he's asked to do. And then he's going to end up becoming, hopefully an elite player at all skill sets that he has and that what we're asking him to do. So we're always pulling for Keyshawn.
Hey, Rich, you've done this for a long time. You've been a head coach before. Goody was talking yesterday about how you guys want to be a specific type of team and physicality is part of it. Nate Hobbs from your time with the Raiders. What has the first week getting changed been like with the physicality and finding the line between trying to become the team you guys want to be physically and taking care of each other? Because I don't remember a time where it's been a little bit of a struggle to find that line like this.
Yeah, I think it has to start with, Coach LaFleur. I think we sit down, we watch the film of every game last year. We all go through, what are our pluses, what are our minuses, and how we can improve, obviously, as a team. And I think, what Coach has done and what he's instituted is, how we're going to practice and the physicality in which we're going to practice. Now, we're going to do that within the realm of the rules and in the realm of taking care of each other. But we are in training camp. It was very early in pads. Things get a little bit chippy. And so I think we would rather have to pull back. I think every coach would probably say that than have to push, right? And I think that's where yesterday led us to as the day went on. And I compliment Coach and the way he's pushed us in the offseason to look at things that we need to get better at, and each position for us and each group for us, how we can all get better. And I think yesterday was a little bit of what we want it to look like. And, at the end, Coach let them know where the line was and when we crossed the line and what the next pattern practice should look like. So I compliment Coach and the way he approached it with us in the offseason to start with. And now the mentality for us is we got to help his vision, come true in practice so that the games can be a little bit different, leaning towards our side.
That's good.
Good. Thanks, guys.
There you go. Rich Bisaccia giving you a little bit of insight there. Good stuff. Boy, I tell you what, Freddie Peralta, man, not to the best of starts. He's got 2 on, 1 out. He's already got a run in. And yeah.
Freddie in the first inning?
Freddie in the first inning, man. Freddie can stymie the momentum here and leave with just 1 and only give that up and then still get a quality start out of this. It wouldn't be a bad way to go. But Freddie is not on right now, shall we say. Hey, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say one more complaint. I love how he throws non-competitive pitches all over the place until the one guy at the plate who will swing out of his shoes is up there. And then it's like, yeah, I'm going to pound the zone against PCA for 3 in a row. It's like, okay, just get through the first with it being close, and I guess I'll accept it.
Right. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Smoke on the Water. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be out there later today. I'm heading out to Suburban Harley-Davidson. I'm getting my new filler lights put in on the Harley. I think that's about it as far as things I'm going to be doing to the Harley specifically this season. But then from there, I take the trailer and I go pick up Joe's bike because Joe Hennis from Smoke on the Water, him and his wife Ellen are going with us to Sturgis. First time for them. They've never been and they really wanted to go. So we said, you know what? We got the room. Why don't you come with us? And they're going to be with us. Also, they've got they're big supporters of the motorcycle ride. Smoke on the Water is the first stop on this year's motorcycle ride for the 18th annual Big Unit Poker Run as well. So thanks to them in so many different facets. And they just keep posting more and more and more great food, new things that they're mixing up on the menu all the time, and great summertime deals out there. Plus the deck is open. They've got the brand new bourbon bar that overlooks Okauchee Lake. So many good things. Smoke on the Water in Okauchee Lake right there on Wisconsin Avenue. And then Sloppy Joe's Saloon and Spoon. It's out in Hubertus, Wisconsin, which is just east of Holy Hill. Go find either location. They are fantastic.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
For windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella Experience.
The biggest thing for us in the Experience Center was a collaboration with the team. We were able to come in and sit down and go over a bunch of different options, and it wasn't just us dictating what we wanted.
They asked us things we didn't even know or think about, from colors to hardware, and because of that, we were able to get the best possible look for our home.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella. Just like Jim and Haley, you too can see, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from 7 different Pella lines, side by side, at our Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. And today is a great day to stop by because right now you can get 0% interest for up to 5 years. The Pella Experience Center is on Blue Mountain Road, kitty corner to delicious cups. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, get the look you want at a price you can afford. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Sometimes I get a good feeling. Yeah.
This portion of the program brought to you by a great company. And we're going to be talking with them in Sturgis, South Dakota. James Mercado and the gang from Veterans America. I am really, really excited about this. Not only does he do a lot of great stuff for veterans, military families, and such, when it comes to your mortgage, first mortgage, second mortgage, refi, whatever it happens to be, but also they do a lot in regards to veterans. There is a veteran who lost his leg. He resides in Florida, but he learned how to kind of readjust and ride motorcycles with just the one leg. And not only does he do it, he does stunt shows. And he raises money and awareness for veterans and those that have been injured, we'll say. And we're going to meet him for the first time, not James, not Mercado from Veterans America, but we're going to meet this gentleman out in Sturgis for the first time. And we're so thrilled and so looking forward to it. And we're going to have James on, and he's obviously a big supporter of the motorcycle ride. But more so than anything, they are now the sponsor of this gentleman. So I didn't get all the details, but man, I'm really looking forward to all of this. Really, I can't wait. Can't wait. Veterans America doing so much, but they're right here in the state of Wisconsin. They're based right here. Go to veteransamerica.com. That is veteransamerica.com, or call James direct, 262-255-2000. That's 262-255-2000. Again, 262-255-2000. Great stuff. And I'm really just another great reason as to why we're heading out to Sturgis, South Dakota, just to meet so many wonderful people. By the way, Freddie Peralta got out of it. One run of damage, that was it. If that's the worst you get out of Freddie Peralta all day, that's a good deal. That's a good deal right there. I don't care who you are.
It's actually a pretty good first inning, sub 30 pitches.
Yeah.
And struck out Horner twice. He hit him on the hand, and Horner swung through, and I think the ump just thought that it hit the bat because Horner didn't respond, and then he struck him out a couple pitches later. Hard to do. Nico Horner does not strike out.
Which is absolutely true. By the way, Jacob says any move to get Terang to short and Ortiz to just be a utility defensive replacement would be good for the Brewers. That is from Jacob. When we were talking about earlier, do you want to see them make a move? And some do. Just to see any kind of a move. We'll have to wait and see. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. Also, coming up tomorrow on the program, by the way, we are going to hear from the Packers rookies, offensive tackle Anthony Belton and the outside edge rusher Barron Sorrell. We're going to hear from both of those guys coming up tomorrow on the program. Looking forward to that. Tim Dillard coming up here after the bottom of the hour. But we're looking forward to that. And Jesse Temple's back tomorrow, right? So we're going to hear some stuff from Badger training camp.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're down in Platteville, and apparently guys are throwing up because it's so hot down there. Platteville, here's the thing. Platteville's basically Iowa. Like, if you've ever been to Iowa in the summer, it is, oh, my God, it's hot. And I know Platteville's in the state of Wisconsin, but, like, geographically,
it's right across the river.
It's Iowa. It's hot over there.
Yeah.
So those guys are they're in the trenches the last couple of days. They're working hard.
A couple of text. I wanted to make sure because everybody's been texting today, and I got a whole slew of text messages. Whole slew. So I appreciate everybody. Let's see here. T-Dub in Tulsa said it's now the Wisco Sports Zone as far as the Zone app, and the Zone is inside the app. So go to Wisco Sports Zone. They did change some things, but you can find the Wisco Sports Zone, which is great. Cody from Cochrane, he says, when you need to exercise a cub, you send in Priester, and then you get the bomb from King Vaughn. I think we all need to get Savale a big Christmas gift for requesting the trade and completing the sweep, if we can do that today. Brenda actually got a ticket. She's at the game today. So kudos to Brenda, who texted us a little while ago. What else do we have here? Brad in Sturgeon Bay says, I haven't heard a voice cracking this much since I was in middle school talking about Austin earlier today.
Well, his voice was just shot to hell here. Listen to this exchange one more time. This is Austin was in rough shape after being at the game.
All right, real quick here. Austin at the game last night at American Family Field. Did you say to your friend, if Andrew Vaughn hits a grand slam here, I'm walking out?
I leaned over to one of my friends. I was like, if Andrew Vaughn hits a grand slam right now, I'm walking out of the stadium. First pitch, nuked.
So You just walk out.
Well, I asked them, if you guys want me to leave, I'll leave right now. I was their ride, so they made me stay. I would have left. Could have left.
He sounds terrible.
Oh my God.
And with all due, it's not like on a good day he sounds like Howard Stern.
Right.
You know what
exactly.
I mean? Or you know, Howard Cosell or whoever.
Right. He sounds like, and this goes back a long time, there was a whole show done. And the only reason I bring this up is because it was like I was flipping through the channels and there was like an old Brady Bunch that was on. I'm like, really? They're playing the Brady Bunch? And it was the one where Peter was the middle one. Greg, Peter. Okay. Peter was the middle one when his voice was cracking and he was going through puberty. That's perennially, but just like perennially, that is Austin every day. So today was even worse. All right, let's do this. Tim Dillard from the Brewers, not Bally's, but FanDuel Sports and all that kind of good stuff. You're going to hear him coming up next. This portion of it brought to you by our friends at Potawatomi Sportsbook. For all the entertainment, all the fun, all the excitement, all the game. Oh, get out! Get the hell out of here! Gone! There you go. William Contreras ties it up.
First since June 15th. It's about time.
Tied it up. 7th homer of the season. Needed it. And it's electric. I don't even know what the hell I was talking. Oh, Potawatomi. Potawatomi brings you a segment. Yada, yada. Tim Dillard next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
For windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella Experience.
The biggest thing for us in the Experience Center was the collaboration with the team. We were able to come in and sit down and go over a bunch of different options. And it wasn't just us dictating what we wanted.
They asked us things we didn't even know or think about, from colors to hardware. And because of that, we were able to get the best possible look for our home.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella. Just like Jim and Haley, you too can see, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from 7 different Pella lines, side by side, at our Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. And today is a great day to stop by because right now you can get 0% interest for up to 5 years. The Pella Experience Center is on Blue Mountain Road, kitty corner to delicious cups. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, get the look you want at a price you can afford. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Server restrictions apply in summer 2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
It's fun to be a part of, especially when the crowd's electric like that it was tonight. It's been great.
It's been great. It's fun to watch. You better believe it. Here's the Milwaukee Brewers. They now hold the best record in baseball as we sit here today, and they have been steadily climbing ever since the mid-portion of May, to be honest with you, and they have just been on fire, for lack of a better term. Let's do this. Let's bring him in now from FanDuel Sports, former Brewers pitcher himself, Tim Dillard, now joining us on the hotline. Tim, good to get you back, my friend. How you doing?
I am doing good. It rolls off the tongue so well when you say MLB best record Milwaukee Brewers. Doesn't it sound good?
It does. It sounds good. If it's, you know what, you and I talked a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about where they were at. There were a couple of games under 500. We weren't really sure what they were. I know that Murph used the term like misplaced energy. He was looking for something to come on, kind of bring it all together. Yelly gets the walk-off grand slam in the 10th, and it seems like ever since then they've been winning baseball games. Is it just as simple as saying something like that brought everybody together?
Probably not. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that was about to happen, about to get Brandon Woodruff back, call it Mizorowski, guys getting at bats, some of the balls trying to land, not just hitting the ball hard and right at somebody. I mean, you could just tell they're on the peak and they're on the verge of something. Didn't know they was going to, skyrocket to the top of, baseball, but you knew the team was good, and you knew they haven't been clicking on all cylinders just yet. And it was probably a combination of things instead of just putting your finger on the exact thing. But stuff started going their way too, and you need that in baseball.
So we were talking about trade deadlines and what trades do for teams. And the big question is with this team, with the way they're playing, the chemistry they have, if you make a trade to better your team as a guy inside that clubhouse, if you make a trade and your management says, hey, man, I think you're really good. I think we're going to try to just fill a hole and give you an extra, ability to get deep into the postseason. If they make a move of any kind, does that, as a guy inside that clubhouse, does that make you feel good? Does it screw up team chemistry? What does that do for a team if they make a deal?
Well, number one, you got to be careful. And I know Murph and Matt Arnold have said as much. You don't want to mess with the mojo and the vibes they got going.
Right.
And then you start looking for, okay, where can we improve? Well, if you go get a guy that, is going to play a corner position or whatever, he's got to have pop. Well, a lot of time that pop comes with strikeouts. So now you're talking about, okay, well, they're going to be striking out more. Then it comes with, well, what about defense? Well, their defense may not be as good. So there's a little risk reward there. And the Brewers, so what if they hit home runs or not? If you're winning ball games, you're winning ball games. So I don't know where you're going to go around the horn and try to replace somebody. And then you start looking at guys on the bench. They have guys on the bench that are doing well. They got starters. Nestor Cortez coming back. I mean, there's so many different things that they're able to do. I think going and finding somebody it shouldn't even be on their radar right now. I mean, still something could happen today, or maybe they know something behind the scenes that we don't, but it's easy to just sit there and go, yeah, I need to get somebody. But if you really look at the numbers, I mean, this team is scoring runs, their defense is elite, and their clubhouse chemistry is amazing. So if they go get somebody, it better be the right guy. But I can't even figure out who they think they would try to get and want to get. But if they do, they have to get somebody long term. A rental right now, it probably wouldn't be a good idea.
The end of May to the end of June, Joey Ortiz was really smoking the baseball. Since June 25th, he's hitting 181. He's got as many strikeouts as he does hits. What's happened to him?
I think he's just watching, every day, watching the swing. I think he's just kind of got a hitch in his giddy up like that. The swing is not smooth. He doesn't want to get beat on fastball, so he's out in front on off-speed stuff. And, you can just watch and you can kind of tell, like, it just doesn't feel comfortable for him. He's probably working on some stuff. And a lot of times you don't see that click until, multiple at-bats go by, maybe a week or two goes by and the timing is finally there. But he's so good on defense right now and the team is still winning that you have to have him out there. He's gotten over the hump of the at-bats and playing shortstop every day. He's so elite. It's like, keep him out there. And when he figures it out and has that big home run or that big double or that big swing and bunt, we'll all be like, wow, so glad Joey Ortiz is out there. Yeah, because he is. His defense is that good and the hitting, it'll come.
The outing the other night by Mizorowski, many have said that was their best or more favorite memory, a recent memory of a guy like Mizorowski, for the fact that he took so much adversity in that first inning, including his own throwing error, only to turn it back around. You give me as a pitcher, give me your assessment watching Mizorowski last Monday night.
Yeah, I think it was Christian Yelich that had a quote in one of the articles talking about that. Like, you want to see what a guy's made of when everything doesn't go your way. And that inning, there was nothing that went his way. It was the worst inning. If you drew up the worst inning imaginable for a pitcher, especially a young pitcher, I mean, that's it. Like, one ball goes to the outfield, you give up 3 runs, you made an error, you're letting your team down, and you're letting your team down early. It's the first inning, and you're already behind. But you start saying, you know what, I'm going to calm down, I'm going to get outs. Because after that, I don't think he threw more than like 12 pitches in the next 3 innings. Like, he was just on fire, throwing strikes, getting outs. And that resonates with the team. It shows the older guys like, hey, you can trust me when I'm out there. It shows the coaches that, hey, just because I have a bad inning or a bad at-bat doesn't mean I'm out of this thing. It's a character builder. And a lot of times young guys, especially phenoms like him, he's probably had bad innings, but if you have a bad inning like that in the minor leagues, nobody cares except for the coaching staff because they know it's, giving you experience. But that happens in the big leagues, man, you feel about as small as a person can be. But for him to stay in the game, bounce back like that, it's going to be great for him. And for the older guys like Yelich to recognize that and speak into it, man, pretty big stuff.
I was watching Murph when Ashby came in last night, and Ashby came in, walked the leadoff hitter, and ultimately he ended up scoring. And I'm thinking to myself, you got a 6 or 7 run lead. At that point in time, don't you just attack the strike zone?
Yeah, but here it is. It's tough. It honestly is. I've been in that situation. Usually I'm in the game. We're down by 10. That was my career. But it's like, hey, clown, throw strikes. And I'm like, I'm trying. And like every ball, you feel like you're getting booed. Feel like you're in winter ball. I come into a winter ball game. I throw a ball. Everyone boos. I throw a strike. Everybody cheers. And you're like, dang, man, that's what it feels like. You feel like you're under the microscope when you're up by 10, down by 10. You're out on the mound. And it's just like, dude, just relax and get out. It's not always that simple. You try to fill up the zone, but guys know that. Guys on the other team are going, oh, he's going to throw strikes. So what do? You start sitting on pitches. And so then you try to nibble. As a pitcher, you're like, okay, I know they're going to be super aggressive, so I'm going to stay on the corners. Well, then your stuff moves, and you end up walking a guy. But, again, it took a second, but once he locked in, Ashby was great. I mean, he saved that bullpen for sure. They'll use, a couple guys. Like stuff like that resonates. And it is. It's a tough situation because you feel like these dudes are just salivating in the box. They did that when I was on the mound. Like, hey, you have to throw us a strike, and we're ready.
I think you had a few strikeouts in your career. Let's not beat you up like that. Hey, I do want to ask you when you talk about saving the bullpen, load management, inning management right now, because pitchers are creatures of habit. How difficult is that for starters that are going to come in? They're only going to throw 3-4 innings at best. You're going to get them out. You're going to try to save that arm because everybody always says there's only so many pitches in an arm in a season and only so many pitches in an arm in a career. So how is that for starters when you know you're going to only throw 3.5, 4.5 innings at best?
Well, I mean, we saw it early on in the season when the bullpen was being decimated every night because starters were going 4 or 5 innings. They weren't going deep into a ball game. But now you're starting to see guys, Peralta going deep into a ball game, Priester for sure, and saving the bullpen night after night. Once these guys look at Brandon Woodruff, 3 quality starts since he's been back. I mean, that's 6 innings. So now that guys are pitching deeper into ball games, if Mizorowski's kind of your odd man out that only goes 4 innings, then that's okay. If everybody's going 4 innings, that's a nightmare. But right now, the Brewers can afford to do that. If that's the pitch count or if that's the plan, that's actually not a big deal. But I mean, they're going to have to figure it out. I think Woodruff, if they're putting him back a day, they're going to start kind of him on a 6-man rotation to kind of make sure he's, got enough bounce back so he can come back and pitch deeper into a ball game. That creates more opportunities for other starters. But yeah, I think with Mizorowski, if they're going to ramp him up and let him really have a pitch count, I don't think he's thrown over like 80 pitches or 85 pitches. I would love to see a game where they're like, hey, you get 100 pitches, go do whatever you want. For a guy like that with that kind of stuff, saying, hey, there's no leash today, bud. Like, have at it. Could see something special here in the next month or so.
Speaking of special, I was listening to the broadcast last night where they said, I'm kind of glad Savale asked for the trade. And they picked up Vaughn, and, man, he has been just dynamite ever since. I guess you tell me, when you go to some place that you're comfortable, that the pastures are greener, that they're serious about winning, they're competitive, there's expectations, it just seems like everything's come together for him, and it's completely elevated his game.
Well, everything that we've probably heard about the White Sox clubhouse, who knows if that's true or not? It's not a winning environment. And when you're not in a winning environment, you play for yourself. And what does that mean? It means if you're up to bat, there's 2 outs, like, why not go for a homer? Who cares? If you're in a losing environment, why are you going to hit behind the runner? Why are you going to work a count? Why are you going to sacrifice a guy over? Why are you going to hit a sac fly? Who cares? You start playing selfish baseball. So he goes from one of the worst environments to one of the best environments. And now it's, hey, every at-bat matters. You have a job to do, and you kind of fall in line. Murph was just on MLB, I'm not sure what it's called, MLB Network, something, whatever one's in the morning, and was talking about that he thought Andrew Vaughn was humbled a little bit. A guy that was a first rounder, he'd had some good numbers at times, and he got humbled a little bit. Now he has a fantastic opportunity, and he's the biggest team player. He knows what to do. He's looking at opportunities, and that's what I see. Milwaukee's become the brand of opportunity, and they see these talented guys, and they know they can help them with an opportunity, with an environment that they can flourish in, because a lot of teams don't have that.
I know there was people that said, don't take Cheerio out of center field. He's comfortable. He's playing well there. Leave him alone. I got to tell you, I was watching the other night, Blake Perkins. That guy doesn't even touch the ground. He's like watching like some kind of like the FTD florist guy float across the air and just close gaps. That guy's amazing in center field. He'd be my everyday starting center fielder if I had my druthers.
Absolutely. I mean, you can throw Garrett Mitchell in the mix. Mitchell's been having some injuries, but when Perkins got back and started having these big moments, I mean, he has a walk-off. I mean, that's for the people in the clubhouse and people seeing his story. I mean, it's pretty emotional because they know how good he is. This is what we saw last year. Probably should have won a Gold Glove in center field. But when he's out there on the field, it's almost, you feel so much confidence as a pitcher. Like, hey, if the ball hits the center, like even if it's going over the fence, this guy could rob it. He had like 6 home run robs last year.
Yeah.
And Cheerio's good in center. Don't get me wrong. He's made some mistakes and he's done really well out there since. He's learning every single day. But he can also play a corner. You know, he can play a corner outfield. That's not a big deal because Perkins is covering so much ground out there. The guy's a real estate agent.
Yep, without a doubt. Tim, is just extremely fun to watch. Now, here's my next question because everybody wants to hold their breath, and then I'll let you go.
Ooh.
We all know getting to the postseason and getting deep into it, World Series or bust, is kind of like that thought right now with this team. There are times when you look at teams and you go, yeah, they're good, but they're missing a piece. But can they overcome it? This team is good in a lot of different ways. You just talked about it. They do a lot of things baseball fundamentally right. Is this the team?
I mean, they have not shown any signs that they can't win a ball game. I know the biggest hang-up is, hey, you go to the postseason, you got to slug. You got to have guys hit bombs. Like, you have to have that. We've been hearing that for a month. Look at social media. Everyone's playing GM. Don't worry. Everybody in the bullpen, usually in AAA, plays GM as well. That's what it's called when you feel like you know better than the actual GM. You're like, oh, well, you got to have a guy that hits homers. You got to bring that guy in. But if you're winning ball games, none of that makes sense. And it's like, okay, well, if you have to have guys that hit homers in the playoffs, well, who made that rule? I mean, this team's winning without it. Why? Because they're not striking out a bunch. They're taking runs off the board with their defense, and these guys are making contact. And that's a big deal because they're built with the personnel with speed. So they put the ball in play, good things happen, and they've proved that. So do they need somebody to hit homers? I mean, they can. And then those environments, look what the Brewers have done the last, 5 days? They've sold out every single day. They're going to sell out again today. Man, they're playing off the energy that the crowd is giving for sure, because it's become must-watch TV because they're playing more exciting baseball than anybody else. All those other teams that are swinging for the fence, giving up 5 runs, but they scored 10. It's like, okay, that's the only way they know how to play. And if they're not hitting home runs that day, they're not going to win. Brewers find a way.
Yeah, no doubt. Tim, great stuff. And I look forward to talking to you again soon, man. Keep up the great work.
Yep, you got it. Thanks.
There you go. Tim Dillard, Dim Tillard, Dim Tillard. Over there on Twitter, Instagram, all that kind of good stuff. That's where you can find him. He's always he's a fun follow in a lot of different aspects. By the way, still sitting at 1 apiece right now as the Brewers top of the third. Cubs have a runner on, 1 out. Freddie dealing at the moment. Let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We will wrap things up next on the Bill Michaels Show.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Coming up tomorrow, we are going to be live from the Wisconsin State Fair. Going to be at the fair tomorrow, and they just announced the winners of the Drinkies. The Sporkies and the Drinkies, they have Drinkies this year. And the winner was the Bud Pavilion. The Bud Pavilion's newest venture, the Rock and Roll Beer Garden. They won first place for the drink. I don't know what the drinky is. My assumption is it might have something of adult beverage in it. I don't know, but I know I'm going to have one tomorrow. The Purple Rain Refresher at the Rock and Roll Beer Garden just took first place at the 2025 Wisconsin State Fair Drinkies. So we'll be there tomorrow. Hey, going to be saying hi to our friends at Burn Pit Barbecue. As a matter of fact, Burn Pit is on site. They are in the Wisconsin Expo Center. And not just tomorrow and Friday, but they're going to be there for the entire run of the fair. So say hi to Ben and Greg. Both of them are going to be there. And so it's great that one of our fine sponsors and a product that continues to grow right here in our own backyard in the state of Wisconsin, going to be on site there in the Wisconsin Expo Center at the Wisconsin State Fair. So I'm looking forward to that. Tomorrow, we will hopefully at some point have one of the giant blue ribbon State Fair brownies. I know cream puffs are the deal, but I'm telling you, man, those brownies, it's like going to the electric chair. Have one, kill yourself. It's that good. Just be done with it. It doesn't get much better than that. Doesn't get much better than that. So we're going to do that tomorrow. I don't know if tomorrow we're going to have Sue Black on either Thursday or Friday, but she's the executive director of the fair. Plus, we're going to have Jesse Temple talking Badgers, Mike Clemens up in Green Bay, hopefully talking about another win for the Milwaukee Brewers, all that kind of good stuff. The Cubs are up, by the way, 2-1 right now on the Crew with runners at first and third with 2 outs, top of the third. Freddie struggling a little bit today, but hopefully the Brewers get this one. I'm going to be listening. Off to suburban Harley-Davidson, then to Smoke on the Water, and then back home. But, man, what a banner day today was. Grant, anything else to add before we get out of here?
I think that was a wall-to-wall, just about perfect show, Bill. I think that was excellent. I couldn't add anything, even if I wanted.
That was an award winner. That was an award winner.
I think you're right.
Somebody from the WBA should have been taking notes on this one, at least, giving us a little credit for something. A coupon, a $20 gift card to Quick Trip. We'll take anything. We don't care. All right, until we talk again 20 hours from now out at the Wisconsin State Fair, time for us to go.